People waiting.
My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Me and baby Jake over here are going to break down the entire UFC Vegas 90 fight card. We're going to give you our picks, our predictions, our bets, and our DraftKings plays. But before I do, we wanted to thank you. During last weekend's live stream, Jacob goes live for most of these fight cards. And during last weekend's live stream and during the chaos that was UFC Atlantic City, we crossed over into 23,000 YouTube subscribers. That's an astronomical number. That is not lost on either one of us. We know that we come on here and we put in some work, and we appreciate that you guys are subscribing. You're taking the time to click the button. You're taking the time to watch. I think I have my shit turned off. Yeah. You're taking the time to do all those things, and we genuinely appreciate every single one of you because this is a grind, and you guys showing up, watching these live streams, and 500, 1,000 people at a time, clicking the buttons, watching the videos, it makes it all worth it. So we genuinely appreciate every single one of you. And if you are sick of Jacob's antics, as the comments are indicating, I've talked to him about it. He doesn't seem to give a shit. So hopefully
No. There is. I read the comments the last few weeks, and there's three things that people really enjoy from me. Number one, it's when I interrupt you. They fucking really love when I interrupt
See what's
you.
happening, guys?
I'll be doing that plenty tonight. Number two is the singing and the dancing. Right? They love the singing. They love the dancing. And Angelo, goddamn it, number three, it's opening cards. So we have cards here today.
That one they actually don't mind. They hate the other
that
two
one
things.
they actually, there was a lot of comments that was like, actually don't mind. So I will be sitting here silently unless I hit something big. Last time we opened some cards, we hit a Khabib auto. So I'm going to open cards once we get this ball rolling to entertain you guys.
Well, we appreciate every single one of you for the 23,000. That's a huge milestone for us, and it is not lost on us how important all of you are and what role you play in that. So thank you all very, very much.
Obrigado.
I also wanted to spend a minute to talk about the robot. Yeah. You said thank you in Portuguese. Congratulations. See, they already said how annoying you are. They're already talking about it in the comments.
Obrigado.
Okay. Well, guys, we've got a robot. You guys have been here for a little while. You know that we have an artificial intelligence that is picking fights. And we debuted it last year, and it was like, literally, it was unreasonably good. And then it sort of dipped a little bit. And then we went back to the gentleman who created it, and he fine-tuned it. Before, it was picking solely off of striking stats. Then it was grappling stats. Then it was biometrics. And there were individual pieces, and it's been evolving over the last, 8 months, 9 months, whatever it is. And it is doing insanely well. Our artificial intelligence, the picks that come with the AI, the pick GPT, went 10-3 at UFC Atlantic City. That's a 77% win rate. The only picks it lost was Bill Algeo, which I'm very annoyed that it missed that
Early
one.
stoppage, come on.
The Bruno Silva fight.
Early
and then
stoppage.
it was incorrect about, what was the other one that I got wrong?
Looks like it
Emmers.
got
Jamal Emmers.
Jamal Emmers wrong.
Other than that, it did incredibly well. And if we zoom out and we look at what the artificial intelligence is doing over the course of 2024 through 11 events this year, it is number 9 in the world. On planet Earth, every single human being that enters their picks, or not human being in this case, that enters their picks into Tapology, and they are tracked, third-party tracked, all that nonsense, it is number 9 on planet Earth with its pick accuracy in Tapology. It is picking at a 67% accuracy in 2024. And if the only thing you ever did, and this is not what you should be doing, but if the only thing you ever did was bet one single unit on every single one of its picks, you would be up 14.4 units in 2024. And that is what we do. We track it that way. So the robot...
Can I tell you that?
I'd rather you didn't. The robot is doing insanely well. If you do want to check out all the picks from the pick, it's Pick GPT is its official name. If you do want to check out all the picks from Pick GPT,
yeah, and just a quick reminder: the debut week of the Pick Doctor, my dog picked better than the Pick Doctor. But
no, not the debut. The debut week, it was wild good. It was the second week. And then it fell off a cliff.
And I think that really set it off to, I think it really refocused.
That is what happened.
I think it thought that it was this big timey thing because it pick a perfect card or like nearly a perfect card or something like that. And I was like, I bet my fucking dog can pick better than this fucking robot. So I had my dog make picks, the robot make picks, and the dog fucking smoked that.
That is what happened. So that was last year, if you've been here that long. The pick doctor, we had been tracking it like behind the scenes for a little while and it had been doing really well. And then at UFC Jacksonville, I believe, it picked a perfect card or it missed one fight, something like that. And it was number 1 on planet Earth, I believe, at Tapology for that one single event. Then we're like, this is so wildly successful. And it was my fault because I sort of rushed it to market and it fell off a cliff. It just didn't do as well the following weeks. So then the gentleman who developed it went back, retooled it, and it is now, and he's watching, and I'm going to get a text tomorrow about how I said this wrong. It is not one single artificial intelligence. It is hundreds, if not thousands, of individual AI, whatever the hell's, picking fights. So it's saying only striking stats, only grappling, only biometrics, only this, only that, only this, individual, whatever. Then it takes the average winners out of all of those, and then it picks them together, and it weights each one individually. It's insanely complicated, and the falling off a cliff was needed to fine-tune it, and now it is insanely stable, doing incredibly well. Number 9 on planet Earth. It's all on Tapology. You can go check all that out. You're not going to be able to see the picks on Tapology till after the fights have happened, obviously, because this is a premium member offering. If you do want to unlock it for this card, UFC 300, and every other card, just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's freaking $10 for an entire month. And not only are you going to get the robot picks, you're also going to get tools like the line movement tracker. This is to give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. Dan Argueta, open up as a favorite, closing as a pretty heavy dog here. You're also going to get the detailed data, metrics, and then analytics. 38 columns of information that you can use to find your own spots, that you can use to hop in or hop out of prop bets. All of this data is fully interactive, ready to go for you for every single card. Yep. That's what I thought. And the safety parlay, it did miss last week. Bill freaking Algeo with a standing TKO somehow. Somehow that dude was declared stopped on his feet. But the safety parlay does continue to be a success overall. I will tell you, you see that statistic there, 6-0 in the last 6 pay-per-views. It does not miss on pay-per-views. And this week, I am very confident in the safety parlay. You get this, my bets, Jacob bets, literally everything that you could ever imagine. $10 a month, WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. We will be doing a vlog for UFC 300. What happens in these vlogs is we have a segment where we open some mail. We'll read some letters from people. If you want to highlight your small business, we will do that as well. I do have a small business that I will be highlighting for UFC 300. This is the address. If you want to send something, we'll read it. We'll eat it if I have to, wear it, whatever it is. Here's the address. If you would like to send something, we open everything up on those vlogs. We'll go back here while we hit up a super chat. $5 from O'Shea Safe. Love the channel. Misread the safety parlay bet. Okay.
Whoa.
Love the channel. Misread the safety parlay last week and bet Aslan instead of Algeo. One time my dyslexia paid off. Yeah, that worked out. I had Aslan just straight up bet there, but would have been nice if he was in that safety parlay. He would never be in a safety parlay because he's too wild and loose, but that would have been nice. Thank you for the 5 spot.
Are you slurring your words?
I hope not. I'm drunk off Propel. And then O'Shea became a YouTube member as well. Thank you very much.
You can be
for all of that.
Too hydrated, you know.
I'm definitely not. My eyes are. I'm definitely not too hydrated.
Shut up. Quinn with $1.99. UFC 300 Vegas trip next week. Like the stream, says Quint with $1.99. We love Quinty, baby. He's
Quint, you're
UFC
going?
300, yep.
Oh, wow. Congratulations to you.
I think he might be fighting.
Congratulations to you. Turns out, yeah, it's one of these people's burners account this whole time. Well, we appreciate you, Quint, and have fun at the fights. Let's go ahead and break down this card.
Well, I just got a couple things to say. Number one is I have debuted a safe-ish parlay for the people. So, you know, the safety parlay, if they're not comfortable with that, I've got a safe-ish parlay. So if you want to, sign up for We Won Picks and find out the safe-ish parlay, a lot of people are loving it, Angelo. A lot of people are loving it. So we'll see.
Sure.
We have, and I'll be honest, we have done a better than Angelo's safety parlay in the past. We've tried to go.
Did not do well.
We've tried to go heads up against Angelo in the past, and turns out that's typically what he needs for motivation to start hitting the safety parlay, because mine were not hitting and his definitely were hitting when I debuted that. So hopefully we give him the motivation again to get that thing going, and if not, I feel good about mine. So there's that. And then the second thing here is elephant in the room, Angelo, and I'm not talking about you this time. My shoulder. And a lot of people are probably asking, oh my God, is
nobody
shoulder
noticed
okay?
that stupid
What's
thing.
going on with this shoulder, guys? I am fine. I'm just working hard in the gym. I'm working hard in the gym because you know what? I asked to go to Brazil, and just for the happenstance, if I get to Brazil, Angelo, and I get to the beach,
you need to look good.
As soon as that shirt comes off, I want Amanda. It's game over for Amanda. That's the goal. Game over. I get to the beach, shirt comes off, and she's like, "Oh shit." That's the goal. So we've been in the gym. We've been working hard, and we're just icing it down. I mean, whew, man.
Okay, can we get on? Can we get on with this? Thank you so much. So glad you went to the gym and hurt yourself on a machine.
Let's
how frail we are.
Yeah, it's how frail we are. Okay, that's right.
Oh, is that you gonna put? Do you guys know Jacob on his Instagram posts thirst trap? Yeah, that's what he posts on his Instagram.
If you look like this, Angelo, you would put up 3 pictures a day, morning, noon, and night, every fucking day if you look like this. You kidding me?
No, I wouldn't.
And this is me out of shape. This is what I'm saying. This is me out of shape.
It is easy for somebody 5'6" to be in good shape.
Imagine me in Brazil actually in shape and just shredded to death. The man is not going to stand a chance, man.
I mean,
that poor girl's not going to stand a chance.
We have a $10 super chat from Angel. He says, Jacob, let's unpack, baby. Let's go. Plot twist. Angelo loves it. No, I despise the card openings. I absolutely despise the card openings. Yeah, not a fan, honestly. Jacob's pretty unlikable, but let's go ahead. What am I hitting here? Let's go ahead and break down this card. Opening up the UFC Vegas 90 fight card, we have Nora Cornolle, and it takes everything in me to not say cornhole, taking on Melissa Mullins. You may see her listed as Melissa Dixon. I don't know if she got married or got divorced, but there's a couple of last names.
I was thinking about that too. I mentioned that in my quick big video. Something to keep an eye on.
Well, and I mean, her right eye could be married, and it looks like her left eye is divorcing the right eye. So that might be what's happening here. But we got Nora Cornolle, 7-1 overall, 5-0 in her last 5. She is coming off the decision win over Jocelyn Edwards in her UFC debut. That was a bit sketchy. She's taking out Melissa Mullins or Dixon, 6-0 in her career, 5-0 in her last 5. And she's coming off that decision win over Irina Alekseeva. And this is an interesting fight. First of all, Melissa Mullins, big-time favorite here. Big-time favorite in this fight. And I get it. She is pretty skilled. She's a powerful, accurate striker. She has the composure of somebody that has way more than 6 fights. Striking's clean. It is impressive. She'll work in a clinch if she wants to. She'll pick you apart at range. She'll fight you in the pocket. And then she will grapple. Takedowns aren't great. Most times she doesn't even need them, but she does work them in. She does get some nice control time off top. Coming off that interesting decision win over Irina Alekseeva, where she was dropped, which is not great, but then she did pop up, showcase her toughness, and then managed a whole bunch of control time to squeak out the win. The reason she's a pretty good big favorite here is because she's taking on Nora Cornolle. And while Nora is a violent striker, she's got power, she's got aggression, she does a good job using all of her striking tools. She will blast you against the cage, she'll knee you in the clinch, she'll kick at range, everything that she can do to get a finish. She can't really grapple. She doesn't have the takedown defense. If it is on the ground, her BJJ, the defensive stuff is okay, but to prevent it from getting to the ground is not great. She is coming off a sketchy decision win. She does have some karma coming her way over Jocelyn Edwards, where she showed us her takedown defense is horrible. Her cardio was horrible, but we also saw how insanely tough she can be. Both of these women are coming off of very iffy decisions. Both of them probably have some karma heading their way decision-wise, but Nora's is far worse. Nora can't really defend the takedowns. She's going to be the more dangerous striker, but Melissa showed us that if you crack her, she will just survive, stand up, keep moving forward, and she can work in the takedowns, and Nora's takedown defense is terrible. So Nora's more dangerous on the feet. Melissa has the easier path with the wrestling. I got to go Melissa here, but I think these odds are a little bit too far gone. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Originally I definitely was going to pick Melissa in this fight, but I was worried because if this stays standing, I think it's a 50-50 fight. Melissa's shown that she is a tough girl, like you mentioned. She's going to be there all 3 rounds, even if it stays on the feet, but she does get hit a lot, and this could be a very, very close fight. And I was going to stay away from this originally because of that fact. But then Phantom's in the chat, in the Discord this morning, we were kind of talking through this fight, and the glaring holes in the game of Nora is just too hard to ignore when you see a girl like Melissa. Melissa doesn't have great takedowns, but is in those kind of scramble, weird positions that if it does go to the ground, she is just so much head and shoulders above a girl like Nora that I can't ignore that type of domination is what she should have. So I think this fight eventually gets to the ground. I hope it gets to the ground. And if it does, I could see Melissa even winning this fight inside the distance. You know, she's not great wrestling, but really underrated control. And you saw Nora, I know she kind of out-scrambled Jocelyn at points and got good positions from, being off her back. But Jocelyn isn't that type of fighter. Melissa actually is that type of fighter. So I think it gets to the ground eventually, and she can find a finish in a submission type. So I like Melissa here, and I feel pretty confident in it. They're both tough girls. And Nora is a fucking beautiful girl. Melissa also very pretty. What you said was very, very mean. But Nora's like a fucking beautiful girl.
Relax, please. Listen, I agree. Melissa should win. She's got the clear path with the wrestling. But as we know, she can get hit. She can get dropped. And even though she survived in her last fight, doesn't mean she will in this one. So we're both on the same side here. Are you confident enough to throw in your DraftKings lineup at $9,300?
I mean, that's probably right at the tippy top. Like, if she was like an 88 or an 87, something like that, I think that's really good because I think she is live for a finish. But 93, I think I might because I feel pretty good about her, but I can see why other people wouldn't, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, 9,300, she's going to need to wrestle from the first minute to the last minute to be worth that money. We're going to need a whole bunch of takedowns, whole bunch of control time. Like, that's the only way that's going to be worth it. So I'm probably going to avoid that 9,300. We did watch her get dropped, and Nora is far more dangerous than Jocelyn Edwards is. But if you do want to check out the picks, the bets, the robot picks, the DraftKings Optimizer, and everything else that we do, go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It is only $10 for an entire month. Next up, at UFC Vegas 90, we have Dylan Budka. Dick Budkiss. You know what that's from?
Well, I know who Dick Budkiss is.
Oh, no. What is it? Damn. In King of Queens, when he's delivering that package to that ridiculous name. What is it?
Oh, Stanley Ipkiss?
No, it's like Budka. People have commented specifically they hate those noises. Anyway. Is this dude in the chat still being an absolute turd? I can't tell.
Phantom's about to lose his fucking mind in the chat, I tell you that. Just a base.
Okay, well, this guy's gone. Can't keep saying that word. Bye. Okay. Next up, at UFC Vegas 90, we have Dylan Budka taking on Cesar Almeida. Dylan Budka, 7-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He is riding 2 wins into his UFC debut. He's taking on Cesar Almeida. His entire MMA career only consists of 4 fights. He did get 4 wins in those 4 fights, and he is making his UFC debut after a very successful long kickboxing career. Think Alex Pereira. And in fact, he fought Alex Pereira. They fought 3 times. He went 1-2, so he did get smoked twice. He did get smoked twice.
He beat Alex Pereira? You shitting me?
One time. Yeah, no shits. He beat him 1 time. But Cesar is a very big, very good professional kickboxer. He's had the success that you would expect from somebody with those credentials. And he does everything you'd expect him to do. He's got good clean combinations, big power, good work. He's very dangerous every second that a fight remains standing. His takedown defense, though, kind of unknown. We haven't seen enough of him to determine if he could defend a takedown or not. Yeah, he defended 7 takedowns on the Contender Series, so that might be enough for you to say, all right, well, we saw him defend those, but those were different. Those weren't clean shots. Those weren't like beautiful, nice setup takedowns. Those were like trip and drag attempts, and those are a lot easier to defend than if somebody's actually on your hips shooting a takedown. Overall, Cesar Almeida, very dangerous striker who is going to need to keep this off the ground. He's taking on Dylan Budka. This guy's a solid grappler, big takedowns. He will lower his level. He will actually shoot right up the middle instead of looking for those clinches and those trips. And when he gets it to the ground, he does a good job working the positions, taking his time. He's not rushed. He's going to look for a submission instead of a TKO. He's not a very good striker. And it's funny because I've seen other people break him down and classify him as a striker. I would not do that. He's not a very good striker, but he has no issues charging forward, letting his hands fly. He's coming off a decision win in the Contender Series, which earned his debut. Grappler versus striker matchup. I got to go grappler here. Obviously, he can get clipped, and that could be the end of that. But I do think Dylan is going to lower his level, shoot takedowns. Lower his level, get to a leg. Lower his level, attack the hips, and get this to the ground. And until we see Cesar on the ground, we don't know what he's going to be on the ground. I have to assume he's not going to be ready. Dylan Budka is going to be the pick. And you can see his line movement here. He opened at a plus 145 dog. He is now a minus 140 favorite. So I'm going Budka. But again, I don't really trust him enough. And here's the problem with you opening these cards, okay? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you in front of everybody. It's killing the vibe of the show because and this is a true, I'm being honest. You can do with this information what you want. It's killing the vibe of the show because instead of paying attention to me, maybe throwing out
everything you say.
Maybe instead of paying attention, throwing out something
I'm not allowed
funny.
to fucking interrupt. People say don't interrupt, so I'm
just
ADHD. I'm just doing what I'm listening to you. I'm just doing what I need to do, so I don't interrupt. And now I'm getting yelled at. You yell at me after every podcast, dude. You can't interrupt. You can't interrupt, dude. They don't like when you interrupt. So I'm sitting here not interrupting, and now I'm getting fucking yelled at for not interrupting. What do you want from me, Angelo? Tell me what you fucking want from me. Please.
I never wanted you to open cards.
What do you want from me?
For sure. I never wanted you to open cards. So I want you to
just
be
fucking
here.
interrupt you or don't interrupt you. You want me to hold your dick? You want me to shake your dick? What do you want me to do?
I want you to be a part of the show that we're doing right now and not do like your own thing and hold shit to the camera and then jump back and forth. That's what I would like. So why don't you tell us who you think wins in this fight, please?
I gladly, because you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong when it comes to this fight. Cesar Almeida is the much better striker, and we've seen what he can do, not only his takedown defense. He got taken down a couple times, so what did he do in that fight? He got back to his feet nearly immediately every single time, and a couple times he had some nice sweeps. He had this dude in the Contender Series fight sitting on his face in a reverse triangle looking at his corner like, I think I bet the over 1.5, so I guess I'm not going to finish him now. Maybe I'll finish him later. Just completely embarrassing that guy on the ground. Now, this is a different animal in Dylan. I agree that the takedowns are probably going to be a little bit better, but Dylan is a college wrestler. I think he only wrestled in college for a year. I don't love his takedowns. Not only do I not like his takedowns, I don't like his control. He has been fighting kind of other wrestlers and other grapplers, so maybe that does play a part, but his entries I don't like. His striking I definitely do not like, especially against a dangerous striker like Cesar Almeida. I think it's actually Cesar? I don't think it's Cesar. Cesar?
Cesar? I don't know.
I think actually it might be Cesar or something like that. Against Almeida, so I think that Almeida keeps his standing, and on the feet, I don't think Dylan stands a fucking chance. So I've seen the takedown defense from Almeida. I think it's going to hold up. It could be a lot of Dylan being strong and holding him against the fence, but even in those moments, Cesar does a good job of scoring points, elbows and strikes. So if he's just holding him, I think he can still win rounds doing that way. So I'm on Almeida here, and I feel decently about it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm on the other side. I do tend to favor wrestlers and grapplers because I do think it's easier. Well, I guess we'll find out, but I think it's easier to just immediately start shooting than it is to defend all of those takedowns, because what ends up happening is then you don't really trust your hands, because if I commit, he's going to shoot and you can get in your own head. He only has 4 professional fights in MMA. I'm picking Dylan. Are you like trying to sneakily open a box like a fucking fat kid?
I'm just trying to be quiet about it so I didn't interrupt, but you're the one that interrupted yourself. You want to do fucking $300 on this, dumb bitch? Fat
No, I just said I'm not confident enough in Dylan.
Fucking butthead.
Okay. I'm not confident enough.
Remember when that was the thing? Fucking
butthead.
Butthead.
I was like dick licker was always funny to me. I don't know why that was a funny one. I enjoyed that.
When you're like a 6-year-old. Butthead.
My kids don't say butthead. They're not allowed to.
Well, that's a 90s thing, so I would hope they don't.
One of them said butthole. And we're like, no, you are not allowed to say that. And
one of them just looked at me one day and just went, ah! And I'm like, all right, well, I'm not coming back here anymore. Jesus Christ.
The little one, somebody in school said dumbass. So,
oof.
Yeah. These schools. Anyway, Jacob and I split on this fight. He's going striker. I'm going grappler personally. I think he can get the takedowns, get it happening, get it to the ground, get the control time, rack up those points. $8,500 may be worth it. But certainly, if you're on the Cesar Almeida side, then you know he's going to drop this dude. He's going to put some stuff in there and potentially finish him. Are you going to spend the $7,700 on your boy?
No. Because there is an opportunity where he does get taken down and control. Like, obviously, I don't see that, but there is that path. And in the finishing ability, I mean, even in that fight that he won in his contender series, it's, I didn't think that his strikes looked like crazily impressive, so I'll probably stay away from it.
Yeah, I hear you. So Jacob screaming about the striker, talking about I'm going to bet $300 on him. Backing off the striker when he's an underdog in DraftKings. But that's so just
combative, dude?
How that goes, because the card thing is really driving me nuts. Do not do this for the UFC 300 breakdown. Do it here, whatever. Not the 300 breakdown. And the comments are overwhelming.
Dude, I'll be honest with you, and this is kind of funny, but you can't fucking tell me what to do. So. Oh,
okay. Well, if you don't care about what the people want and the growth of the channel, then yeah, you just continue doing you and just ignore feedback. That's fine. That's what successful people normally do. I'm just going to start pinning all the comments that are stupid about the cards. Let's see. Give me 30 minutes to find one. They seem to love the card openings. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway.
I got this chick again. Who the hell is this? Do you know who this is?
I can't read the name. That's why this whole thing is so stupid. You can't even see them. You can't read them. They're shiny as hell. It's distracting. You're half distracted. Like, it's dumb. It's stupid. It's stupid to do this. But you'll just keep doing whatever the hell you want because you're just a man-child.
Hey, do you know who that is?
Yes. She beat the shit out of Hannah Goldie last year.
Really?
Mr. Man. Next up, at UFC Vegas 90, we have Jean Matsumoto taking on Dan Argueta. And this is an interesting fight with some interesting line movement. -140 to +167. Dan Argueta, legitimate dog in this fight. 9-1 overall. He is 2-1-2 in his last 5. He has 2 wins, 1 loss, and then 2 no contests. One of those no contests was when he bodied Ronnie Lawrence. The referee stopped it early. They called it a no contest. The second no contest. Why are you shaking your head? This is why
I'm not even looking. I'm talking about the cards. This is what I'm talking. I'm not even. You're making me interrupt you. I'm not interrupting you.
A different stream. This is stupid.
It was the same card again in the next pack, man. It's blowing my mind.
The other no contest for Dan Argueta was his last fight. He genuinely lost. He lost to Miles Johns. Miles Johns had like a tiny little drop of, I don't know what it was in his system. USADA flagged it. They made the fight a no contest, but they were like, it's so little to actually punish him. We'll just keep the fight a no contest. So that's why he's 2-1-2 in his last 5. But he lost that fight. He is coming off of a loss. He's taking on Jean Matsumoto. Jean Matsumoto is undefeated in his career. He does have 8 stoppages. And this is another flip. Underdog to favorite. Favorite to underdog. And I got to be honest with you, I don't agree with this line movement. I think Dan Argueta opening at -140, being the favorite, made some sense. He's a short, stocky guy. He's a good wrestler. He's going to come across the cage, wrap up your body, drag you to the ground, use the muscles, good pressure. He leaves almost no space for you to move, tons of pressure. That's his game plan. Come forward, get it to the ground. Be a good wrestler. He is durable. He is tough. He can get his striking going, and he has very good pressure. Taking on Jean Matsumoto. He's a very well-rounded guy. He's got a black belt in BJJ. They say black belt in Muay Thai, and someone's like, well, Angelo, they don't have black belts in Muay Thai. Some gyms do. Some branded environments do. But either way, he's a high-level jiu-jitsu guy and a high-level striker with a Muay Thai discipline. He can initiate offensive takedowns as well. He's got some power doubles. He's busy on bottom if he's taken down. He's not just a grappler. He's not just a striker. He can do all of those things. He works it together well. He can counter-strike. He can move forward. He does get hit a ton, though. He is tough, plenty of cardio. All of those things would make it sound like I'm going to pick him. He's a good striker. He's a good grappler. He can offensively wrestle. If he's on the ground, he can stay busy. But I just think Dan Argueta can move forward. I think Dan Argueta can close the distance, can get the fight to the ground, can wrestle, can stay tough. And how many times have we seen these UFC debuts show up like that absolute can Steven Wynn, show up and then not get it done? So I'm on the Argueta side. He's a tried and true entity at this point. Even in that loss to Miles Johns, he actually had some moments there, had a couple of takedowns against a very good wrestler. I think Dan Argueta can sneak out this win. I'm going to continue to watch this line to see if it widens. I know you're on the other side, Jakey boy. Why don't you go ahead and tell us why?
Why don't you go ahead and just real quick accept that bet?
Let's see.
Go ahead and read it out loud and just tell the people if you're going to accept it or not.
You sent a bet Dan Argueta versus Jean. I'm spending $187 to win $300. Is that correct?
If you would like Dan Argueta.
Yeah, I'll do it. Okay.
Oh my God. Did you hit accept already?
I'm about to. I had to log in.
Let me know when you hit accept. Let me know when you hit accept.
Yeah, it's been accepted.
Oh my God, we got him again. Holy shit. How do you keep falling for this shit, dude? Mm-hmm. Honestly. You really accepted it?
I did.
All right. Well, me and Angela have a $300 bet now on this fight, and I can't wait. I can't wait. Last time we had a bet, you literally paid for my flight to Vegas to the Apex with Zalal and Billy Q. I appreciate that. So
that was so dumb.
Here we go again. We might be going to UFC 300 now. I like Gene, man. This kid's good. Not only is this kid good, but his demeanor, his tenacity, he stays with the pressure. Those leg kicks are absolutely fucking brutal. Dan Argueta, we know who he is, and I have no hate in my heart for Dan Argueta. He's a tough fucking kid. This dude is a relentless, tough fucking kid that's going to stay on you. But when he is making his approach, he is on the center line, he is getting hit, and he walks through it, and he eats those shots, and he will keep coming in your face. But he doesn't...
You said coming in your face, so I laughed at it. I'm the normal one. Go ahead, finish your breakdown.
I'm just innocently opening cards, sitting here, not hurting anybody, just me and the Lord. And then you come in here with your grotesque toilet mouth.
You said the toilet mouth. You were the mouth, dummy. I laughed at the shit you said.
I said he just keeps coming forward, in your face.
Yep. That was
just always coming in your face. He's right there. Over and over. He is nonstop with the pressure. And I don't doubt that he probably is going to get a takedown or two in this fight. But I love Gene's demeanor. He was taken down in his last fight. But he knows how to sweep. He takes his time. He makes sure he does not make a mistake to give up his back or anything crazy. He gets to positions. He gets back to his feet. And on the feet, he is going to punish Dan Argueta. His hands are so fast. It is nonstop. It is clean, crisp boxing.
Yeah, my bad. My bad. You just were like...
Angela he never heard of a fucking double standard in his life, have you? I can't do fuck for shit, but you can just do whatever the hell
the cards are genuinely distracting. You want to give me a hard time about the things I say? Go for it.
Keep somebody.
I
don't want another comment this week about Jacob interrupting. This is twice in the fucking last 4 minutes.
Well, at first you were talking about ejaculate, and then the next time you were choking on what sounded like ejaculate. So yeah, please continue. I will do my best.
Remember what I was saying.
Yeah, well. I don't either.
Do I try to watch it back or something? I don't even know what I said. But Gene, I like Gene. I think he's something about he gets back to his feet. He knows his jiu-jitsu sweeps, and he's going to punch it. Those leg kicks, man, when you're a wrestler and you're heavy on that front leg, which Dan is heavy on that front leg, and you got to use that front leg to take those shots, it is going to get beat to fucking hell. I promise you that. I love Gene in this matchup. He's just going to be way too much on the feet. He has good takedown defense. I'm surprised, even on his Contender Series fight, you didn't mention his hips. Great fucking hips. You could see those hips suck back on the entries. I think he even got a complete sprawl.
He's very good.
Yeah. Talented fucking dude, strong dude, doesn't get tired, doesn't panic, right? He's never been a nail, 14-0, and you worry about that. But even when he was flat on his back, there's no panic. He got back up right in a guy's face, knows how to win rounds. I like Gene.
No, he's very good. This breakdown, me picking Dan, me actually betting Jacob against Gene, isn't a reflection. Gene's good. He's not a fraud. He's good. I do think, though, and we've seen this over and over again, you get in there against somebody who's already been in there, and it changes everything. And Dan is the exact type of guy that can do well here, because even if he's not having the success that he thinks he should have, he's going to keep moving forward. He can take a shot. He can wrestle his ass off. He doesn't quit on himself. Like, I think Dan can come forward and grind it, but Gene is very good. If Gene smokes Dan, Gene's almost like a, who is that dude? He's also undefeated, flying under the radar. It's like Michael something. Michael something. It's not Michael Morales, right? No.
Michael Marias?
No, I forget his name. He's like Ecuadorian or something. He's like flying under the radar. Michael
Morales.
Yeah, he just beat. Who did he just beat? It was a 29-28. Oh, Max Griffin. Didn't he beat Max Griffin? Yeah.
Yeah, because that was my lock of the week, and you nearly fucking got it done too.
Well, Gene is almost like that. Like, he's good at all the things. He's not. You don't watch him and say, this guy's crazy dangerous, this guy's whatever, but you recognize that he's just good at everything. I do think Dan's just a very one-dimensional forward movement wrestling is going to be enough. But Jacob and I are split here. We did bet money on this. And if you do want to see all of our other bets, if you want to see the AI picks, if you want to see the DraftKings optimizer, we have the most robust, built-out, high-quality premium product in this space. That is an objective fact. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. It is only $10 for an entire freaking month.
$10 a fucking month, guys. You're going to put $10 on a fucking bullshit parlay. How many bullshit fucking parlays do you have right now in all your stupid fucking betting feeds? 14-leg, 16-leg, 20-leg parlays. You guys are playing fucking baseball bets now for $10. Put your $10 a month at WeWantPicks.com. You got 4 weeks to get your money back on fucking $10. It probably is going to happen. If it doesn't, it was $10. And if it does, guess what? The next month, it's still only fucking $10. What are you doing with your lives, dude? Come on.
Jacob with the Angelo pitch. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. We do have a super chat from Diaz Auto Detailing. He said, money for Jacob to go to Brazil. $2, baby. Put it in the jar.
Diaz, is it? Diaz? What
is that from? Oh, yeah. Is that from with...
Oh, you got it. Yep. Say it.
Yeah. Blue Streak?
Yep.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
We used to watch it. I think I've told this story before, but my senior year business management class, obviously... Nobody's doing fucking shit your second half of the semester of senior year business class. So we spent half the semester watching The Apprentice, like all the Apprentice DVDs. Great fucking show, by the way. And then
Celebrity Apprentice was the best.
I think there were some of those in there too.
Those were so good.
And then the second half, we literally just watched Blue Streak for like 4 straight weeks over and over and over. I think we watched it like 8 or 9 times the last like month.
I'll never forget. I don't know why my cousin and I, everybody has these memories of just whatever, laughing your ass off. My cousin and I were in a hotel room.
With Diddy.
We had already seen, like, we didn't just watch Blue Streak, but we were talking about it for some reason. And we laughed for a good hour straight going, get your butt naked ass on the ground. Get your butt naked ass. Oh, he's stinking. Like that whole seed was just so funny. Spread your cheeks.
By the way,
yeah.
You got some,
this?
You got some,
Tiffany hits me.
Oh, hits you with their fucking tongue, huh?
No, that's from jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I bet it is.
I actually
looks like a man's mouth to me.
No,
that's a big. I don't know. You know, Tiffany's tall, but she's not that big a girl with that fucking mouth. Jesus Christ.
That was a man's forearm. I was in a choke, and I refused to
right
tap
there.
out.
There's Diddy stuff there.
What's crazy is, the other day I noticed, I was like, oh, what the fuck? And then now it's just getting greener and bigger. I can't believe you can see that. You know what it is? I just have such a big man neck.
Be careful, that thing might pop, baby.
Mm-hmm. Just a huge man neck.
Yeah, so that was jiu-jitsu, you said, huh?
Yes. Next up, at UFC Vegas 90, we have Cynthia Calvillo taking on Piera Rodriguez. Cynthia Calvillo, an astonishing 0-5 in her last 5. 9-6 overall, though, but 0-5 in her last 5. She is taking on Piera Rodriguez. For all the people who said I can't roll my R's, 9-1 in her career, 4-1 in her last 5. She is coming off of her first career loss to Jillian Robertson. And Sam Alvey over here, Lady Sam, actually has some juice left in the tank. Despite her age, despite that recent record, Cynthia Calvillo is actually a decent fighter. She's a good striker, good grappler, has some takedowns. She is well-rounded, but she's a little bit slow for the division, and she doesn't have much power. So she's only winning decisions. She can only grind, only stay tough, only stay in your face, and try to squeak out these decisions because she's not dangerous enough to finish somebody or to snatch something up. When she does get you to the ground, she's going to soften you up with strikes, try to work for a submission. She is on this 5-fight skid. And on the surface, you're like, that is an embarrassing loss. Nobody should ever pick her. Nobody should ever bet on her. I thought we were done betting on fighters with these types of losing streaks. But you look a little closer, and the 5 losses are actually quality. She's lost to some very good fighters. Most recently to Loopy. That loss doesn't hold up as well, but it was a competitive fight. She's taking on Piera Rodriguez, who's a nasty striker. She's got very real finishing ability. She plots forward, lets her hands fly in what looks like controlled chaos. She will create a whirling dervish of punches and kicks. But that's just what she wants to do. It's not just close your eyes and swing. She's actually trying to create that mess. And while it is purposeful, she does get hit a little bit, and she does wing those punches. She's got pretty good takedown defense at 66%. She is defensively sound on the ground. She's got plenty of takedown offense as well, with 12 takedowns in 4 fights. She's coming off, that's a submission loss to Jillian Robertson, where she basically shot a stupid takedown and then got exposed on the ground. And this is honestly harder to pick than you would think it is, because you just see 0-5 in her last 5, and Cynthia Calvillo's done. And then if you go back, Cynthia Calvillo was good, doing well. And then, what's her name? Short little Jessica Andrade broke her. I mean, she quit on the stool. And it took something out of her. She was never the same after that. In her last fight, she was far more competitive than usual. She did show, some veteran savvy. She did make it a competitive fight. But in my opinion, that was less about Cynthia and more about Loopy being Loopy. Fuck. Loopy letting people stay in fights that she shouldn't let people stay in fights, making poor decisions. So I am going to go Piera Rodriguez here, but if she doesn't fight with solid fight IQ, she should just get out veteran savvied here. So Piera Rodriguez needs to come forward, stay busy with the strikes, know that Cynthia has no power, just absorb whatever Cynthia throws and just throw back harder and win that fight. If she starts trying to grapple for some stupid reason and doing stuff that she shouldn't be doing, that's when she's going to get out-veteraned. But Piera's going to be the pick here. Cynthia may still have some juice left. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I was on...
I'm laughing because...
That was 4 seconds for that interruption.
I laughed. You did something funny and I laughed. I didn't interrupt. I reacted in a positive manner to the dumbass noise you made. That's the reaction you were looking for, so I don't know what the problem is.
I was trying to collect my thoughts because this is an important breakdown for me, so,
Okay, go ahead.
So, I've been back and forth on this fight, and today I decided... in my mind this morning, I was going to make up my mind because I've been back and forth. So I watched a lot of Piera fights. I watched a lot of Cynthia fights. And the conclusion I have made, Angelo, here today in front of you, God, and everybody, is that Cynthia Calvillo is the better fighter. She's the better fighter. I don't give a fuck about the 0-5, whatever it is. She is the better fighter in this matchup. She's the better wrestler, right? She's the better grappler. And I believe that she's the better striker. She's definitely the more volume striker. She's going to stay in the face of Piera. And I agree. I was a big Cynthia fan. I fucking love Cynthia. I still like Cynthia, but I was a monster. Like, Cynthia is that next girl because she was fucking nasty, man. She would take you down and she would get fucking nasty on the ground with you. And I agree. Jessica Andrade fight really kind of fucked her up. She showed, or she found out that there is kind of levels to being bullies, right? You have the Angelo bullies that are like, you have cancer. And then you have me, which are topical, smart, witty, that eat you to your fucking core. You hear something, you don't even think about it until you're laying in bed. Then you're like, oh, fuck, I am kind of fucking fat, aren't I? That's the level of bully, right? So Cynthia ran into a bully that was a little bit more bully than her, and it really did kind of break her. But she's had some time since then. She fought like once a year since then. In that Loopy fight, if you watched that Loopy fight last year, I saw those flashes of Cynthia. I saw her get hit, kind of smirk a little bit and want to give one back to a girl like Loopy. Took down Loopy. Looked good in that fight. Some say she even won that fight versus Loopy.
Nobody says that. Nobody has said that. Some say. Who? Name 10 people who said that.
It was clearly a very close fight.
It was a bad split decision. It was a close fight, but nobody thinks Cynthia
Loopy's
won.
Face was completely fucked up and bloody all over the place at the end of that fight. What are you talking about? I thought Cynthia could have easily won with damage. It was back and forth, and Loopy was fucking busted to shit from Cynthia's jab. I like her striking in this matchup. Piera has to get takedowns, in my mind, in this fight to win. And guess what Cynthia doesn't give up? Takedowns very often at all. It is very hard to take a girl like Cynthia down. If she does, boom, right back to her feet. She was at AKA for a while. She knows what she's doing in this fight. I believe she's going to be the better wrestler. I think she can get nasty, bring out that old Cynthia, and if Piera can't get the takedowns, I don't think she's going to win this fight, and I don't think she can get the takedowns. So, I'm going my girl Cynthia.
Listen, it's easy to dog because of her recent record, but I'm obviously on the other side here, but I get where you're coming from. It's a logical conclusion to draw. It's not ridiculous to think Cynthia
Piera's
Calvillo
very easy to take down. As good as she does have pretty good takedowns. I mean, she does have pretty good takedowns. She's very easy to take down. Kate Hansen easily just cut the corner on like a fucking double leg, just easily took her down. Jillian, who really doesn't have good entries and takedowns, easily grabbed a single, ran the pipe, got her to the ground. And when she's on her back, boy, does she stay on her back typically. So I think there's a couple paths to victory for Cynthia in this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously on the other side. I do think there's just a piece of Cynthia that just left with that Jessica Andrade fight. She's 36, which it's not crazy old, and women can have longer careers than men at these weight classes.
She looks 23.
Well, the biggest issue for her is she was always a little, like, she was never fast. That was never her thing. And as she gets older, that's only going to be
And she moved weight classes, too. I think a lot of her stuff was at 125. Then she went to 115. And when you're already not real fast at 125, then you try to go 115, people are going to look really fast. Yeah, I mean, the difference between speed between those 115 and 125ers is really kind of crazy. So, but I like her.
Yeah, no,
I think she does have a boyfriend. I think it's a fighter. It's Marquez.
Damn it. Julian?
No, it's not Julian.
I was going to say, isn't he like an OnlyFans guy? He is. Him and his lady have quite the channel, I believe. I think I've heard allegedly. $7,800 for Cynthia Calvillo in DraftKings Fantasy. You're going to spend that, Jakey Bombalotes.
I am. I think she can get a takedown whenever she wants. Right. I think she brings back the old Cynthia with some takedowns.
Well, I mean, if Cynthia wins this fight and gets that grappling going, and gets that grappling.
I like Cody Brunn. I like Cody Brunn. He just posted a picture, and I liked his picture, and it just started playing music for some goddamn reason. So, but Cody's looking fucking diced and mogged at this. Look at that dude, man. Okay. That's the dude that's about to ruin everyone's fucking night next week.
Nobody's parlaying. If anybody's parlaying a minus 2,500 favorite, like they don't know how math works. Yeah, either way,
I feel bad.
We do ask that you become a premium member. Not only is it an incredible way just to support the channel, keep us going, keep the lights on around here, you also, in return, will get the most comprehensive, robust, thorough, well thought out premium membership in this space. You can get tools, bets, picks, insight, and more. WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member. At the top, it is only $10 for an entire month. Next up, at UFC Vegas 90, we have Norma Dumont taking on Germaine de Randamie. This is another fight where people look at it and they make snap judgments just looking at the names. But the reality is, this
Chinese Norma.
Oops.
Oops. What the fuck?
Oh, I must not have switched the flags after
snorted.
doing Alex.
I just snored. I don't know. Did you hear that? I just snored. I've never snorted in my life. I don't know why that was so funny. Chinese Norma. Jeez.
I must have. I used every time I do a fight.
Norma,
I use the same
dong,
graphic.
huh?
I do the next one.
Norma Yadong.
Yeah. These two flags. This is your boy Jean Nakamura. Anyway, you got Norma Dumont taking on Germaine de Randamie. Norma Dumont 10-2 overall, 4-1 in her last 5, riding a 3-fight win streak. She's taking on Germaine de Randamie. 10-4 overall, 4-1 in her last 5. She's coming back after more than 3 years away, and I do believe she had a child in that time off. But the reason I say this is a hard fight to just make snap judgments on, because people are going to see Norma, who's good, she's big, she's getting things done, active, relevant, taking on a much older layoff style fighter. But you got to look a little closer. Germaine de Randamie is the first ever women's featherweight champion of the world. Germaine de Randamie has beaten some of the best female fighters of all time. She is 46-0 in kickboxing before she moved over to MMA. She's beaten 3 former and current world champions. Germaine de Randamie has one of the best resumes that just goes completely unrecognized. And I get it. The insanely long layoff. She doesn't have a ton of finishes in the UFC. She's just out pointing people on their feet. I get all of that. But the reality is, Germaine de Randamie, while she is older, is a very, very good fighter, a very skilled kickboxer who has developed very good takedown defense. Her only 2 losses in the UFC are both to Amanda Nunes, both of them. And then she has wins over Holly Holm. She has wins over three UFC champions. She's taking on Norma Dumont. We all know Norma at this point, solid striker. She's patient in the cage. Her striking is technical, good takedown defense, very good strike differential. If she ends up on top, I'm not mentioning her behind. Is that why you're freaking out over there, dropping things? Just imagining what the back of this graphic looks like?
Germaine is not Brazilian either, so.
Yeah, I told you I got the flags wrong, dickhead.
She's a freaky deaky Dutch.
Okay, anyway. Nora Dumont is very big, very well-rounded. She uses her size well. She comes forward, primarily a striker, but she can work in some grappling and just likes to bully. She's got very good high fight IQ, and she's coming off that fight where she rocked Chelsea Chandler early and then just had Chelsea literally running around the cage, avoiding her at all costs. She does have 11 takedowns in 8 UFC fights. What are we continuing to laugh at?
Dude, all these comments are so funny, dude.
Oh, just about Norma?
Dude, someone said Norma Class B drivers Dumont, which I assume means you can drive a tractor trailer. That's so funny. Oh, shit, man. Sorry,
Well,
Norma.
either way, listen, if this fight was a few years ago, I might go Germaine. Honestly, she's the better striker. She just straight up is the better striker. And she's got very good takedown defense. But she is 39 years old. There was a 3-year layoff. I think she had a child in that time span. So I can't pick her here. But I'm not going to bet on Norma either. I think you just sort of avoid it and see what happens here. Norma should win. She's younger. She's more active. But she's not the better striker. She just isn't. So if she's getting outstruck, she's going to need to rely on the wrestling and the grappling. And while she does have that success, Norma is big, but Germaine's bigger. She was the 145-pound champion. So I am going to pick Norma here. I'm going to lean youth, speed, agility, all that stuff. But Germaine is the better striker, and Norma's going to need to wrestle. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, this is a lot of people are going to be in question the layoff, which I get, right? I mean, 4 years is a long time, especially when coming off. I think she had a kid with an injury on top of it, and even if you're 30 years old in your prime, that's a long time. And on top of it, she is like 39 years old. The good news is, especially in this type of division, kind of the bigger girl type of division, I don't think the layoffs matter quite as much because none of these girls are like crazy fast strikers. So getting your timing back is not really that big of an issue. So this isn't like a 155-pound guy coming in trying to find his timing in this fast-paced fight. I think she can be able to work into this, and it's not that quite of an issue. And because of that, I kind of like her in this fight. Norma Dumont has shown really nice improvements every single time she fights. And what I really liked in that last fight with Chelsea Chandler was that fucking nastiness, man. She was nasty in that fight, even before the fight, dude. When she was yelling at Chelsea Chandler in the back after weigh-ins, whatever it was, in Portuguese, if I didn't watch that video at night before I went to bed 100 times, that was the most incredible. Hearing somebody yelling, I've never heard somebody yell angrily as a female in Portuguese. Changed my fucking life. I watched that clip so many times. I'm like, yeah, this is what I want right here. Right here. Norma Dumont's getting pretty nasty, but she needs to be in the pocket with her striking, right? She wants to be in the pocket, get a clinch position, maybe get you to the takedown, but she needs to be in that distance. And I think she's going to fucking struggle because it's not like she's got good footwork to kind of cut angles to get in there. She's just going to walk straight forward, move her head a little bit, and I think she eats a lot of shots, and Germaine is able to kind of dance around, pick her apart, and really beat her up. So if she can get a takedown or something, that's probably the better path to victory, but even closing the distance to get that, and we've seen Germaine be dangerous even with her takedown defense, with submissions and guillotines and stuff like that. I think it's a tall task for Nora Dumont. I'll be pretty surprised, especially if she makes this look easy. But I got to go Germaine here. I think she's the better striker, stays at range, and uses that length. So, that's what I'm doing.
I'm surprised you're picking Germaine. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the layoff.
2024 is about putting biases aside, beauty aside, horniness aside. I am rock hard, but I cannot listen.
There you go. But I have an ice pack, and I am working on that situation, keeping the blood away from the brain so you can make proper decisions. I get it. The layoff is a concern for me. If it wasn't for the layoff, and this was 3 years ago, I'm going Germaine. But there is a layoff. It's not 3 years ago, and Norma can, I just think, be busier, stay in her face, and we're going to see maybe Germaine takes over late, and we end up with a 29-28. She takes the third round after she works out some of those cobwebs, but we are split here again. Are you going to spend $7,600 in DraftKings? Probably not worth it.
Yeah, because it could just be kind of jab
striking,
and then move and then jab and then move, and not really. It's not like I don't think she's gonna be like crazy pressure. I don't think Germaine's gonna be pressuring her, so the strikes won't even really add up. And if she does get taken down or something, there you go. So there's probably better spots. What was Cynthia was 77, 70.
So, I don't know.
I think that's better value.
Yeah. Could be because she likely wrestles. Yeah. No, I actually agree with everything you said there. I don't think Norma's worth the 8,600 either because she's going to need to wrestle, I think. And while she may get some takedowns and that would score well, Germaine is very big. Norma's not like a phenomenal wrestler. I think there's a lot of feeling out, a lot of distance stuff here. Could be some cage control, but Jacob and I are split here. I'm not going to spend the money. Neither is he in DraftKings Fantasy. But if you do want to check out our full DraftKings plays and slate, if you want to check out the optimizer, if you want access to the picks, the bets, the artificial intelligence picks, and more, just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. It is only $10 for an entire month. Next up, at UFC Vegas 90, we have Ignacio Bahamondes taking on Christos Giagos. Ignacio Bahamondes. I cannot say his last name normal. I just can't do it.
It's Bahamama.
14
you got
and
this
5.
all sorts out of. You got all this out of. Unfortunately, this is like the featured fight on the main card.
Well, when I did this literally an hour ago, they didn't have the fight order set yet. So they must have
the same
set
one
it.
that I had on my quick pick on Monday. So
I go off the Tapology fight order.
that's what I'm looking at right now. It's the same order that I have.
So what is out of order? This is exactly what it is.
No, this is on the main card. This is the fourth to last fight.
Either way, we have Ignacio Bahamondes taking on Christos Giagos.
Sorry doesn't give a fucking shit about you guys.
Ignacio Bahamondes is 14-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off that decision loss to Ludovic Klein. He's taking on Christos Giagos, 20-11 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, coming off that submission loss to Daniel Zellhuber. And Ignacio in his last fight, bit surprising. Because overall, he's obviously, we know, insanely tall, very long for this division. He typically uses that really well. Good striker, incredible volume, good power. He's got a lot of solid footwork, a lot of good head movement, and that protects him from other people's power shots. He's got solid takedown defense at 85%. But why I said his last fight was a little surprising, that takedown defense didn't really hold up. He was taken down by Ludovic. He felt like he was a step behind. He seemed a little slow. And I don't know what it was, but Ignacio didn't seem like Ignacio in that last fight. He is also notably 0 for 5 in takedown attempts in his UFC tenure. He's never taken anybody down. He's taking on Christos Giagos. This guy is a grappler. He's proven that he's never out of a fight. His grappling is solid. He does have some tricks up his sleeves. Striking can definitely use some work on the technical side of things, but he has insane power. He's fast, but he's unorthodox. He will wing punches, try to make something happen. He is coming off that second round submission loss to Daniel Zellhuber. And this should be an automatic Bahamondes pick. You should just instantly this guy is super tall, super long, super dangerous. He can submit people. He can knock people out. He's the pick. But the reality is his takedown defense failed us in his last fight. That's how he lost. 3 takedowns. He got taken down 3 times in that fight against somebody he was supposed to be striking with. So if you think Christos can come forward and get those takedowns, then he has to be your pick. But if you think Ignacio's last fight was an anomaly, and that's not who he is as a fighter, then you have to go Ignacio here. I think Ignacio is the better overall fighter. I think his last fight was more about how good Ludovic Klein is than it was about Ignacio's poor takedown defense. So I am going to go Ignacio Bahamondes here. He is going to be the pick. I'll be biting my nails that entire fight. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to bet on him, but I do think he's going to get it done. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, Ignacio is probably a little bit overhyped, but these odds make sense to me because this should be, in theory, a step down from Ludovic Klein. Ludovic Klein's a very fucking good fighter. Really good fighter. Really good striker, defensively sound, can mix in a takedown. So that really was a puzzle for Ignacio to try to solve. He showed great toughness. Right, there's no doubt that this dude Ignacio is tough. Ate a big shot early, weathered the storm, was able to go tit for tat for Ludovic, who was kind of beating him up, but he never gave up on himself. So I like the toughness of Ignacio, and I pray to God, honestly, that he doesn't have to use it. Because if you have to use your toughness against Giagos, you could be in big trouble. Zellhuber had to use his toughness, and he had to use all of his toughness when he got cracked to stay in that fight, was able to end up winning that fight, and that's what I want to see here for Ignacio. This guy is hittable. Giagos is hittable. He is a wrestler that throws a big overhand right to try to get the takedowns, or he'll just throw to try and put you out. He's going to make mistakes. But if you try to knock this dude Giagos out, like Zellhuber tried to do early, and you stay in the pocket and you get hit, you are going to probably get fucking hurt bad or your lights put out. It's not worth it, dude. Stay at fucking distance. Eventually, Giagos is going to make a mistake. I promise you. Don't go KO hunting. The KO is going to find itself. Stay within yourself. Use your length. Use your striking. You're a very, very good fucking striker. He's going to make a mistake. He's going to start getting frustrated. He's going to start getting sloppy. The shots are going to come wide. You're going to see him. You can time him. Get your timing. And then the KO shot will be there. Maybe a KO shot to hurt him. And then it's a club and sub situation. Because Giagos will get hurt. He will shoot off instinct. Front choke could be there. We could get to see an Ignacio front choke in that regard. Ignacio is the better fighter. He should win this fight. Just stay out of the danger. Stay out of those phone booth situations. Don't try to throw that extended combination because you think you would sneak this shot in. Stay at range. Wait for him to make a mistake. Win the fight. Move on. He should win this. I'm on Ignacio.
Yeah, I mean, we're on the same page here. I completely agree. I think the takedown defense will be fine, even though Ludovic took him down 3 times. The difference was Ludovic is so dangerous on his feet. Ignacio's worrying about everything. And Christos is dangerous on his feet, but he just
in and out. Yeah, he's in and out. Giagos is a little bit more
programmed. No, Ignacio should win. We're all squarely on that side. $9,100 in DraftKings may end up being worth it. Christos is insanely tough. He does have some comebacks, but he can be finished. Ignacio's probably worth that money in your DraftKings lineup. If you do want to check out everything else that we do, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It is only $10 for an entire month. That's going to give you UFC Vegas 90, UFC 300, UFC Vegas 91, 30 days of access. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. And before we move on to the main card, let me tell you about the $50 we will give you or anybody else, whether you're a premium member or not, $50. All you need to do is go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our partners, make a deposit, and we send you $50 as a thank you. It's affiliate marketing. They're going to pay me. I'm going to slice off some of that money and give it right back to you. And here is the address. If you are a small business, you want to be featured on a Fight Foods vlog, send us something. We'll open it. We'll talk about it. We'll do all the things. Here's the address. Every single vlog for every single pay-per-view, we will have a mail day. Jakey boy, I have to pee so insanely bad. Do you think you can entertain the people for 3 minutes while I take a quick pee-pee? I think you can. I'll be right back. Figure it out. Don't be weird and silent. Whoop.
3 minutes, dude. There's no way this dude's little dang-a-lang is peeing for fucking 3 minutes. Joey! Jojo! That was his dog. How you guys doing, by the way? Thanks for, if you haven't liked the stream already, like the stream. We're sitting here, we're having a good time. Now we can actually have some fucking fun, I just got a fucking email scared the shit out of me. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, the Victor Hugo fight did drop. Alatang Haley pulled out of that fight. They said that they're going to try to find a replacement for Victor Hugo. I hope that they do, because I was loaded on inside the distance plays for Victor Hugo. I thought Victor Hugo was one of the best values on this card. Minus 120 money line for a guy like Alatang Haley, who isn't overly dangerous. Maybe Victor Hugo got tired or something like that, but I was really high on the Victor Hugo side. But yeah, like the stream if you haven't already. We appreciate you guys, by the way. Ansel didn't let me say thank you, but everyone that's watching, the 23,000 subscribers, all the premium members, everyone that became premium members, everyone that is here on the Tuesday streams, my Saturday streams. Last Saturday, I think we hadn't streamed like 3 or 4 weeks. We had like almost 800 people watching the streams. This Saturday, I will be streaming, I think. I'm going to be streaming for UFC 300 as well. So I just want to say thank you from me, from the bottom of my heart, because if there's one thing I am, or there's two things, it's definitely fucking annoying. I understand I'm annoying, but I'm also always fucking appreciative. I promise you guys, I will always be appreciative of you guys, what you guys do for us, for the channel, for me personally. It's awesome, and I say thank you.
Hold on, I can't hear yet.
Okay.
Now I can. Was there an echo?
Of me talking in the background?
Yeah, because I muted, but I guess it didn't. It knows the difference. Whatever.
Why do you isn't Court McGee like really fucking disrespectful to you? Kind of both these guys, but definitely Court McGee.
Why would they be disrespectful to me?
Because they got full fucking hairlines and they keep it. Yeah, you gotta let that shit flow, man.
I agree.
Luscious
I'm gonna have to pee again for sure. I drank so much water today. I thought I was dehydrated.
You had a UTI. If you just sat down and you're gonna have to pee right again.
Not right now.
Oh yeah, no, right now. No, I don't have diseases. I don't have a man hickey on my neck, and all of a sudden I have a UTI, Angelo. That doesn't raise any fucking red flags. Jesus Christ! You're talking about you and your cousin in a hotel room. Now you got a man hickey and a UTI.
I will admit the optics are not great. So what I will do is I'll videotape the pee coming out. You'll see there's no blood. It's not yellow. It's nice, clear.
Some of the
fully hydrated urine.
Some of the, and I can't think of the word right now, is it's not going to squirt out. It's just going to ooze out of the tip.
Next up at UFC Vegas 90, we have Court McGee taking on Alex Morono.
Discharge. That's what I was thinking of. Discharge. Oh, shit.
Court McGee, tried and true vet, 21-12 in his career. He is 2-3 in his last 5, though, and he is riding back-to-back losses. He's taking on Alex Morono. 23-9 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that decision loss to a welterweight, Joaquin Buckley. Oh, yeah, that's right. He was your failed lock of the week that week, was he not?
Fucking Alex.
Well, that loss holds up because Buckley's been finishing dudes.
That is true. Alex Morono's title shot inbound. Here we go.
There we go. Well, he's going to have an interesting road here because he's taking on Court McGee, tried and true vet. He's been around forever. We should thank him for what he's done for us fans. He's always willing to get into a slug fight. He's always willing to bang it out. He's always willing to move forward and try to win these fights. But he is the last generation of fighter. He's not this current generation of fighter that's good at everything. This current generation of fighter that are very athletic and could have played other sports, could have done other things, but chose MMA. Court McGee is a throwback to when you didn't need to be particularly athletic. You didn't need to have natural gifts. You could just work really hard, be really tough, and make a career for yourself. And that's who Court McGee is. I don't think anything he has was easy. I think he has to work his ass off for everything. I don't think he's just naturally gifted. He's very tough. He comes forward, and he's turned into a bit of a wrestler over these last few years with 9 takedowns and 21 minutes of control time in his last 4 fights. But he is older. His chin is starting to finally give out on him, and he was just knocked out early by Matthew Brown. He's taking on Alex Morono. What is so funny?
Matthew Brown. I've never heard anybody call him Matthew Brown.
He's taking on Alex Morono. Alex Morono is a well-rounded guy, and I'll call him a well-rounded wild man because he can get crazy in there. He can have fun. But he is well-rounded, and he does have very good techniques everywhere. He can be a good striker. His grappling is very good. It's underappreciated for sure, but he can get wild. High-level black belt who doesn't use his wrestling as often as you would want him to, considering his grappling credentials. He does, however, do a nice job of working in a takedown if he needs to. He won't do it if he's having some success striking. He will do it if he's on the wrong side of some of those exchanges. He is coming off that loss to Joaquin Buckley, where he was just a step behind that entire fight. And here's a tiny bit of an off-topic thing here. In my quick picks, or no, it was in the fight recap for UFC Atlantic City, I said I thought Joaquin looked amazing. He looked fast. His movement was incredible. And there were multiple comments saying that his movement was trash and he looked awful. Am I crazy?
It was a close-ish fight. He definitely was landing more shit, but he almost got caught in a guillotine. I think another armbar as well on takedowns, but he definitely won the fight, but he didn't dominate Alex Morono. Because I remember watching...
No. I'm talking about Atlantic City. I'm talking about when he just finished Vicente Luque.
Oh, Luque didn't do anything.
That's what I'm saying. I said Buckley had incredible movement. It's the best he's looked at welterweight. He looked great.
I mean, he wasn't really doing
like
anything either. He was doing a lot of just crazy movement. And it definitely was confusing Luque because Luque was like, "What the fuck is I can't?" And Luque finally was like, "I'm gonna go home because I don't know what this guy's doing."
Forget it.
He literally just kind of took a knee and then kind of just got out of there. But yeah.
Well, either way, that was off topic. I was surprised to see so many people say that he looked terrible when I thought he looked very good. Either way.
He didn't look terrible.
I am going to go Morono here. He opened at a minus 330 favorite. That did tighten, and now it's hanging out around here. It's been pretty stable at minus 280s-ish for a little while now. And I understand people's reservations because Alex Morono should be faster. He's not going to hit harder, but he should be more accurate with his strikes. He certainly is the better wrestler. But sometimes Alex Morono can be a bit unreliable. He's the better fighter here. He's always been the better fighter. He's certainly the younger fighter. He's certainly the fresher fighter. He's the wild fighter, the durable guy here. But there are times where Alex is doing things that you're like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? So I am going to pick Alex. I do have him in a little bit of a parlay. I've parlayed him with somebody else. I'll give you the other half of that when we get there. But Court McGee could just move forward, being tough and old, and just dad his way to a win here. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to do that. Alex Morono, to your point, does kind of, he has one of the greatest quotes of all time where he's like, I like to stand and bang like the good Lord intended. This guy is a third-degree black belt that's just like, I don't think I'm going to grapple. He literally, if he just went to if he just had some good takedowns and just used all his grappling abilities, he might honestly be like a top 10, top 5 dude in this division. But he's like, it's kind of boring to me, so I just like to stand and bang and see what happens. And he has fun doing it, and God bless him for it. And I love Alex Morono. He was my lock of the week versus Buckley because I thought that he was just a better fighter than Buckley. I still don't think Buckley is that great of a fighter, but his movement, his athleticism is going to win him a lot of fights. I thought Morono was going to be able to get in, catch him in kind of those moving exchanges, and if it went to the ground, you saw how dangerous he was. I mean, he almost got Buckley just really, really quickly. So Court McGee to win this fight is going to have to just kind of hold Alex Morono against the cage. But when you're out against the cage on Alex Morono, he literally will just kind of reach over your head, grab that guillotine and threaten it, and might even fucking get it. So you can't even really do that. Alex Morono should be the better striker. He is a very underrated striker. He's got that tippy-toe style in and out. Yeah. He definitely does get hit, right, with that in and out banishing style. If you're going in at the wrong time, he could get knocked out. But, I mean, he is the better fighter here. He's got all the ways in the world to win, either in the striking, touching. He might be able to knock out Court McGee. Court McGee was just flatlining in his last 2 fights, or he can get a submission if Court McGee tries to wrestle a little bit too heavy. So Alex Morono is the pick here. Obviously, it's fighting, so anything can happen, but I like Morono here. The great White Alex Morono. The great White.
That is a wild,
like great White.
It's wild how you just change the inflection on one word. Great White. Oh, he's a shark. You change inflection.
Great White.
Yeah, you change the inflection on one word there, and all of a sudden this guy's a sheet.
That's like
in
Django, where he's like, we're going to go to the parlor and eat white cake. It's like, ooh, okay.
So, I mean, we're both on the same side here. Do you trust him enough to bet on him to do stuff with it, or you're worried about that line and some of the decision making?
You know, if it keeps coming down, I mean, I'll definitely going to keep an eye on it. But yeah, I think he's decent enough to bet regardless.
Yeah, I have him in that parlay. Actually, let me go back to this slide real quick. This is the stat I'm talking about. 0.34 takedowns per 15-minute average. For a guy that is that good at jiu-jitsu, it's just such an annoying stat to see. You do wish he would grapple.
I think 10 years is at the 3rd degree. I think that's what the caption said. Black belt for the last 10 years.
You just wish he'd wrestle a little more. Like, come on. And he has a good striking, so he's not a jiu-jitsu nerd by any means. You almost want him to be a little bit of a jiu-jitsu nerd at times.
Well, like, yeah, and I guarantee you, in this fight, this dude does like to fucking bang, dude, and he knows Court McGee can get knocked out. So I guarantee he's already seen that knockout finish in his mind 1,000 times. Unless he gets hurt, I don't see him trying to wrestle.
I completely agree with you. $9,200. Man, that's a tricky price point because obviously Matt Brown was worth his price tag in the last fight, and Court McGee was knocked out twice. But Alex Morono, he doesn't hit as hard as Matt Brown does. And Court McGee...
Oh, he hits plenty hard.
No, he could definitely knock out Court McGee.
The great White.
But Court McGee might turn into a wrestler here. He, as I mentioned...
I hope he does.
21 minutes of control time in his last 3 fights, 9 takedowns in his last whatever it is.
This will be over. This will be a very easy fight if if Court McGee starts wrestling early, which I think he might. I
would imagine he would. Yeah, I mean, so either way, this should be a very interesting fight. I do have a bet on Alex Morono here. If you want to check that out, WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. It is only $10 for an entire month. What are we talking about? You going to pay for some weirdo's Patreon? Is that what you're going to do? Just a list of some shit? $10 a month, you're going to get tools, insight, more, a full-blown interactive website tailored to your needs. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top.
That's what the description on my OnlyFans page.
Tailored to your needs? No. Next up, at UFC Vegas 90, we have Wild Man. Trevor Peek taking on Charlie Campbell. Trevor Peek, 9-1 overall. 4-1 in his last 5, coming off the first decision win of his career. He's taking on Charlie Campbell. 8-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that knockout win over Alex Reyes.
My name's Trevor Peek.
In his UFC debut. Dude, that was a box of chocolates voice. My name's Trevor Peek. Mama always said. Anyway, Trevor Peek is not a particularly skilled fighter, right? If you're just going skill for skill, there's not a ton of clean techniques coming out of there. There's not a ton of really nice, well set up doubles. There's not a lot of sit behind the jab kind of striking. But what Trevor Peek is crazy. He will come forward. First of all, he has the chin you expect him to have with that jawline. You can hit him with a bat, you can hit him with a shovel. This dude's fine.
I had a friend in high school that got hit in the forehead with a bat, split him wide open. It was insane. There was a substitute teacher at fucking gym class that was letting people fuck around. I wasn't there, but people said the sound was just tink. It just split him. He had the Harry Potter scar in stitches. He came to school like the next week, and I was talking to him in class, and his stitches just all of a sudden just started bleeding down his face. I was like, oh, that's disgusting. Split him wide the fuck open.
I have 30 stitches right here. You can't. They did a good job with it, so you can't see. Oh, but
I had cancer. So I had cancer.
A sun allergy
on my face.
That's
what the scars are.
The earth hates you so bad. It said, you know what? Every time this motherfucker goes outside, let's try to kill him. And it did. It tried to kill you every time you go outside.
I'm not gonna apologize for being a survivor because that's part of me, and I'm proud of that.
I wouldn't brag about it either. Tell you that much. Anyway, I got hit in the head. My little brother and I.
All right,
this
is
to the
breakdown.
No.
I mean,
this was like
Christ, man.
Elementary school. My little brother and I were hitting golf balls. He had a little pile of golf balls. I had a pile of golf balls with an aluminum bat into like the woods. And I took one from his pile, and he didn't even fucking think about it. Just bang, just hit me right in the head with an aluminum bat. And it was so fast you don't feel it. And I immediately was like, "Oh, you're in so much trouble." And I ran inside to tattle. And as
your little brother.
He hit me in the head with a baseball bat.
Oh my God, that sums up everything makes sense now.
As I'm running up the stairs, blood is just pouring everywhere, and I needed 30 stitches right here above my eyebrow. Either way, Trevor Peek, he wouldn't bleed if you hit him in the head with an aluminum bat because he took one of your golf balls. He's got an insane chin, and he will just come forward, swinging wild, staying in your face. You can't get rid of him with some punches. And he is going to be there that entire time looking for a finish, trying to toss you around, trying to take your head off. He's taking on Charlie Campbell. Charlie Campbell is not that guy. He's a technical striker. He likes to pick his shots. He likes to use accuracy instead of coming forward with wild combinations. He also can be hittable because he keeps his hands a little bit low, but he's got good leg kicks, great takedown defense, and if he does get a takedown, he is busy on top. He's coming out of that Sarah Longo fight gym, so you know he's gotten some good wrestling looks as well, and he's coming off of the stoppage over Alex Reyes in his UFC debut. Alex Reyes hadn't fought in years. He had like a blood disease. I mean, that wasn't a great fight to establish the bar of who Charlie Campbell is. I do think that's what's happening here with this line. I think this line is sort of indicative of Charlie's last fight, when the reality is Charlie's a technical striker. Trevor Peek is a wild savage that's going to stay in your face. And I think Trevor Peek will move forward, stay in Charlie's face, make it ugly, touch him up, and Charlie will have to fight a perfect fight to win here. He's not going to knock out Trevor Peek. He's not going to knock him out. That's just not something that can happen. So now he has to pick him apart for 15 full minutes. And I think that's hard to do. Chepe beat Trevor because Chepe is also a dog. And he stayed in Trevor's face. And when Trevor would overcommit to forward movement, Chepe would wrestle. He'd toss him. He'd shoot a takedown. Where that's not really how Charlie Campbell fights. Trevor Peek's not the better fighter, arguably not even a good fighter. But I'm going to pick him here because that guy's a savage animal that you can't knock out. And you can't really... He's almost... I'm going to be nice. Jacob, what are your thoughts?
I can't. I can only imagine where that was about to go. But, yeah, Charlie Campbell is the better fighter. Yeah, he is the better fighter. He should be the pick. But what I worry about with Charlie Campbell, honestly, is the fact that in his last fight, he showed that he learned from the Duncan fight, right? The Duncan fight, he almost got the knockout. He got a little bit too aggressive and got fucking absolutely put out. So in his last fight, he was kind of taking his time, right? He had the guy hurt, but he was taking his time. Then he was in and out. Then he hurt him again, but he learned his lesson as far as rushing in to try to finish the fight. The issue is he was still able to finish that fight, If he does that versus Trevor Peek, because I imagine he's probably going to land a decent shot on Trevor Peek, but if he just takes his time, because he knows Trevor Peek is going to want to brawl, right? Everyone knows that you don't want to brawl with Trevor Peek because he will throw some wild shit that you're not really used to, different angles, and he will fucking put you out if he hurts you. And Charlie Campbell knows that. He's going to have PTSD, so he's probably going to touch Trevor Peek. He's going to take his time, and if you take your time, Trevor Peek's going to he's going to recover. He's going to be fine. He's probably going to make it out of the first round, and then we get to a situation where we really haven't seen Charlie Campbell second round, third round. We haven't really seen him in an actual type of fight lately. Where Trevor Peek, to his credit, we've seen him be tenacious for 3 straight rounds. So as much as I like Charlie Campbell and think he's the better fighter, I actually think his unwillingness to try to finish a guy like Trevor Peek is going to be his downfall. I think this fight extends. I think it gets in the second round, and then it just becomes Trevor Peek's pressure that's going to take over. And this could be a decision fight. Maybe Trevor Peek's able to find a finish that he hasn't been able to find in the last couple of fights, being that wild style. But I think this fight extends, and if it gets to the second round and Trevor Peek's still there, I honestly think it's just going to be his pressure. It's going to be too overwhelming for a guy like Charlie Campbell. And Charlie Campbell, even early, isn't really a sniper type fighter. He really kind of wants to get in there and throw an extended combination, which is going to be dangerous as well. So, even though Trevor Peek is not the better fighter here, I think his toughness and tenacity is enough to beat a guy like Charlie Campbell, and I think he can just kind of dog this win out. My name's Trevor Peek.
Yeah, listen, I have the over 1.5 round bet here, and I got it at plus 165. What is it now? Did I get good odds, or are they even better?
Let me just fucking do
I
your
was
job.
just
Where I was sitting
you to
for
be
fucking
ready.
6 minutes where you could have just looked it up your goddamn self. But any other songs and dances you want me to do for you, anything like that?
No, the people have decided they don't
Plus
like when you sing.
145. What did you get?
All right, so I got 165. Baby.
Oh, CLV for the ANG who has HIV.
CLV. What's CLV? Oh, closing line value. Got it.
For ANG, who's you, who has HIV because you have a hickey, a man hickey, and a UTI. So HIV is next.
I mean, that's from jiu-jitsu for sure.
You have soupy
100%.
green discharge is what you told me today.
Okay. None of these things are true. Please continue to watch the show and don't click away because Jacob is saying
Like the
gross,
stream.
horrendous things. Yeah, please.
I was about to leave, but I think you're going to ask me something.
No, I honestly give a fuck about your opinion about most of this shit. Charlie Campbell being $9,000 in DraftKings is kind of wild. It's kind of wild. $9,000 in DraftKings Fantasy. And yes, he just scored those points. He was just worth that money, knocking out a blood disease 3-year layoff having Dominic Reyes' little brother, Alex Reyes. But that's not who Trevor Peek is. So Trevor Peek at $7,200 in DraftKings makes a lot of sense. I would avoid Trevor Peek's money line. I don't think his money line is worth it. I have 2 bets on this fight. I have the over 1.5 at plus 165. And then I have Trevor Peek wins inside the distance, decision no action at plus 125. I have both of those bets. I think that's the safer bet. You lose a little bit of value on the Trevor side, but he's not going to get finished. And him getting finished is the only way that bet loses. You either get a refund or it'll pay. I said I had inside the distance decision no action on Trevi. You think he's going to get finished? Like, that's the only way that bet loses.
I know, but I think there's a decent chance he wins a decision. So,
well, then I'll get a refund. Then it's fine. And then my over hit. I mean, use your brain.
I think you might as well just play the money line if you're going to play that. Because then you're going to win inside. You don't think he's not going to get finished either way. So if you play his money line, you're going to win if he wins the fight or if he wins inside distance either way. And
yeah, but I'm also covered.
Odds.
I'm also covered if he finishes this dude. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, just use your brain. Use your brain. No, but I think he can lose a decision because he's not the better fighter here. And if Charlie dances and hangs out, so I don't know. I'd rather give up a little bit of that value and protect myself a couple times over.
Decent amount of value there for the plus 190. You're gonna get a
plus 190 is
a guy that fucking fights for you. I didn't know that about that.
Well, that is true. But the plus 190 is bet openly odds. You can check them out. You're literally gonna get the best odds on the planet. Just go to we1picks.com/bet openly or just betopenly.com. But plus 180 on the books earlier today. Trevor seems to be everybody's favorite dog this week. So I imagine that line will tighten unless the comment section is not indicative of actual
82. It is moving fast.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it is a WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. It's only $10 a month. Thank you. Next up at UFC Vegas 90, we have Lukasz Brzeski taking on Johnny Walker's younger brother, Valter Walker. Lukasz Brzeski, 8-4 overall, 1-3-1 in his last 5. He is riding a 3-fight skid. He's taking on a Valter Walker. Valter. It sounds like his name is Valter Walker.
Why
and I'm doing
Brazilian
a Russian
flag.
Well, he is Brazilian, even though dude be living in Russia. But he is 5-0 in his last 5, and that's because he's 11-0 in his career with 7 stoppages. And we'll start on the Valter side. That's the more interesting side of this matchup. He's Johnny Walker's younger brother. He's massive like Johnny. He actually looks like Johnny in the face there, but he fights nothing like Johnny Walker. He's very physically imposing, but unlike his brother, he is controlled, he works forward cleanly, and he looks to grapple. He is a giant Brazilian living in Russia. He fights like a Dagestani. He is a heavyweight Dagestani. He'll move forward, throw some big strikes. They're not very fast. And then just be humongous and shoot takedowns. And he shoots real takedowns. He's not grinding against the cage trying to trade. He will shoot actual, very real takedowns. He does get hit a lot. His striking is not good. That's what I'm saying. He fights like a Dagestani. If he had his brother's striking and then the wrestling that he's picked up in Russia, he'd be phenomenal. But he is still very, very good. He's undefeated for a reason. But it doesn't take a whole lot of tape study to watch him get smacked around a little bit in a couple of fights before getting a takedown and winning there. He's taking on Lukasz Brzeski. Lukasz Brzeski is the far better striker in this matchup. He's a well-rounded heavyweight. He's got solid power, solid speed. Decent. I mean, the takedowns are mediocre. Really nice leg kicks. He is athletic. He has no problem just spinning around, working in whatever attacks he wants to. The problem, though, is that he does not seem to react very well when strikes go his way. He will literally turn his head, or he'll overreact defensively, which allows him to get hit even more. In this matchup, I think he'll overreact defensively, which allows Valter to shoot takedowns. I think Valter dominates in this fight. He should be able to come forward, ragdoll Lukasz, and get it done. The issue, though, is his striking is absolutely miserable. He does eat a ton of shots. His face gets smashed on the way in every time. Somebody like Lukasz, who hits very hard, can absolutely catch him when he's charging in. But most heavyweights, Lukasz included, are not used to a massive 6'6" Brazilian who wrestles like a Dagestani charging forward. Valter should be the pick. Why this line is tightening is beyond me. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what do you think, Jakey boy?
Minus 270 now. It's
crazy,
getting even tighter. But I get it, right? Because Valter is not that great of fighter, right? I mean, the strike he gets tired. The striking is sloppy. It's not very precise at all. But this literally is a situation where he's coming to the UFC, Johnny Walker's brother, and they were like, "Let me find the one guy that this guy can beat." And if you're Valter Walker, this is the dude. This is the dude. They set you up to beat a guy like Brzeski because Brzeski is going to be the better striker, but it shouldn't matter. You watch that Carl Williams fight. The takedowns were so fucking easy to the fact where even when Carl Williams was basically hands on his knees, and he said he wasn't tired, but this dude is hands on his knees, gasping for air, still fucking got takedowns very, very easily and got the control that he needed to win that fight. So even if Valter Walker gets tired, which he does get tired in past fights, I've seen him back it up and then boom, right into a blast double. He still can get takedowns even when he is completely gassed. I saw Carl Williams do it to Brzeski. I've seen other people do it to Brzeski. He is just so easy to take down, and he will slow down himself as well. So even if Valter is getting tired, as long as he's able to get a takedown or two in the first round and make this dude Brzeski work, I think they gas kind of at the same rate. And if they're gassing at the same rate, I don't think Brzeski's going to have any
the power's gone quick, yeah.
Oh, we're doing that again. Okay. So I believe that Brzeski isn't going to have the honestly just the tenaciousness to finish a guy like Valter, and he's going to be able to get a takedown to steal rounds again. So I think he's very live for an early finish, which is crazy control, just being big as fuck. But I get people's concerns, but he should be able to win this fight. I mean, this literally was like, dude, you can beat this guy, and I don't know who else you can beat, honestly, but this should be the guy.
You and I have talked about this like privately because you've been updating me as this line has been tightening. And I'm like, this is an SD Dumas situation all over again. This is last week. For some reason, SD Dumas was everybody's favorite underdog. Everybody on the internet, he was everybody's favorite underdog. And I was very high on Nursultan Ruzaboyev because Nursultan was a very good wrestler. And now that fight played out oddly, but it was very clear that SD was getting pieced up. And obviously there was an eye poke and an unfortunate ending, but it was very clear that SD was getting pieced up before that. And I think, or Jacob's theory, is that a lot of people looked at that fight and they're like, we think Nursultan sucks. So then they decided to take their money and bet on somebody who also sucks. Don't do that here. Don't look at... It
happens. I see it happen every single week. Just because you think somebody sucks, you can think that Valter Walker sucks, and I've had the discussion before multiple times in cards here. Just because you think he sucks doesn't mean you have to bet against him because you're betting on a guy who also sucks, you know? So think he sucks, that's fine. If you want to put like a flyer on Brzeski or whatever, but if you're putting actual bets just because you think somebody sucks and you're betting on somebody that actually sucks, I don't know why you would do it.
People were putting hundreds. I saw somebody put $2,000 on SD Dumas last week, bragging about the ticket like it was a genius move. It's like, dude, and nobody could tell me why they thought or how they thought SD would win. All they would do is trash Nursultan. And some of the people I've seen like Lukasz Brzeski here are doing that. I haven't seen somebody say, well, Lukasz can win doing XYZ. I've just seen, Valter striking sucks. He slows down. It's like, okay, but how does Lukasz win? Do you think he's going to outstrike Valter and knock him out on his feet before he gets taken down? Is that what you think? Well, okay. Don't bet on him. Don't bet him. And the odds are enticing, but I'll take a giant heavyweight. I'll take a giant undefeated heavyweight who wrestles like a welterweight
in your hotel
over a dude who's 1-3-1 in his last 5. Any day of the week.
Brzeski does have beautiful eyes, though. Those things are fucking like a water fountain. I just want to drink them up.
Jesus Christ! I do
beautiful
think
eyes, man. Jesus.
I do think Valter wins, and I'm confident enough to bet on him. Same reason I was confident enough to bet on. Oh my
God, we have live in the flesh line movement. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye.
What happened now?
Cynthia Calvillo is plus 132 now. Piera Rodriguez minus 152.
Did that widen or tighten? I forget what it was.
Can't remember.
Either way, I do have Valter is the other half of that parlay I have with Alex Morono. 2 guys who I am very confident in to win that, should be able to get it done. And that is, I believe, plus money. I don't have it right in front of me, but if you're a premium member, you had access to that before I placed it, or before this video when I placed it. You got alerted instantly. So if you want to unlock everything else and check out all of Jacob's bets, WeWantPicks.com.
Oh, I got some good ones this week too. We've got the safe-ish parlay that we've debuted. If you guys are just tuning in, I have a safe-ish parlay aside the safety parlay that I feel pretty good about. So,
well, there you go. You can unlock my safety parlay, Jacob's safe-ish parlay, and throw them head-to-head. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. Only $10 for an entire month worth of access. And I personally will have Valter in my lineup for $9,400 because he should win by finish.
Yeah, we have some just crazy developments in the chat. I've been keeping my eye on it. We have, not only do we have Steve Balboni in the live chat right now, but we also have Tommy Tough Knuckles. So they're both in here. I mean, we're just looking.
What is happening? I've seen Steve Balboni in the Discord. Seems like a fine gentleman. Who the fuck's Tommy Tough Knuckles?
You don't know Tommy Tough Knuckles?
No.
Oh, no. That's not good for anybody, honestly. It's not good for anybody. We got to respect Tommy Tough.
Who is this?
I wouldn't ask those questions out loud, Angelo.
Okay. Well, then let's move on. Next up, at UFC Vegas 90, we have the second fighter on this card that seems to be the community's favorite underdog. We got Chepe Mariscal taking on Morgan Charriere. Morgan Charriere, 19-9. Oh, he sounds like a fresh summer drink. Some Charriere, please. Ooh, can I get some Charriere with a little bit of club soda? Ooh, that sounds good.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Morgan Charriere, 19-9 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off of his first UFC win.
Tommy Tough Knuckles said, we'll be moving in town next week. You'll get to know us. I'm telling you, man, you fucked up.
It's more than one person now?
Tommy, this is crazy. This is
it's
not
not
good.
just one. It's not one person.
This is not good, Angelo. This is not good.
See you around town.
You got to kiss the ring, Angelo.
He's taking on Chepe Mariscal. Chepe Mariscal is 15-6 overall, 5-0 in his last 5, looking for his 3rd UFC win. And our boy Chepe has been an underdog in every single one of his UFC fights, and he's won 2 of them so far. He's looking for his 3rd win. And he continues to get underestimated. I'm not quite sure why, but if we step through it logically, I can understand his UFC debut, short notice against Trevor Peek, who at the time, nobody knew that his skills weren't there. Okay, dog, fine. But then he outdogged Trevor Peek. Goes up against Jack Jenkins. Jack Jenkins, another prospect, all these things. But Chepe tosses him. He does break his arm, but that's his fault. He got tossed. He didn't know how to brace. That's his fault.
I kind of got that same thrown on me, and I handled it just fine.
Yeah, Jacob didn't break his arm. He got launched into the wall.
I got right back to my feet, defending the takedown.
Well, that didn't happen. But either way, so fine. If he wants to be if they want to make him a dog in his second fight, it's against Jack Jenkins, all the things. Okay. I don't know why he's a dog in this fight necessarily. Morgan is a very good fighter. He's explosive. He's light on his feet. He will leap in the punches after stalking you and taking his time. He'll work in some control. Does a good job being either all the way in the pocket or all the way out of the pocket and stay at range. When he is in, he likes to tie up. He likes to work knees. He likes to work control. When he's out, he'll stalk you. He'll wait, and then, as I mentioned, he will leap in. He's got solid takedown defense, a few takedowns of his own, and really uses scrambles pretty well. He is coming off that knockout win, his UFC debut. So he's a well-rounded kid who can be explosive and can be all those things. But Chepe is a dog. Dog is a great way to describe him, but he's not just a dog, right? Nate the Train, we call a dog. And Nate's decent in a lot of places, but he doesn't excel anywhere. He's just super tough, comes forward. Chepe, on the other hand, is very good at a lot of things. He was a collegiate wrestler. He's got a BJJ championship. He's won some kickboxing tournaments as well. He can do all of those things. We just watched him win 2 fights in the UFC. We watched him work in his wrestling. We watched him work in his striking. We watched him stay tough. He does have some unfortunate losses, one of which was one of the worst knockouts I've ever seen in my entire life outside of the UFC. But his chin seems to be there. He still seems to be dogging it up. And this should be a really fun fight. Chepe's been an underdog, as I mentioned, all 3 of his UFC fights, and I get it. You look at the record, you see some of those unfortunate losses, but he continues to move in the right direction. He continues to beat people. He continues to beat, very good people, if you will. He beat an insanely tough wild man who hits hard. He beat a very calculated technical striker in Jack Jenkins. And I think he's going to beat Morgan Charriere. I think Chepe can win this fight. I actually don't think he's the better fighter when it comes to just straight technique. I think Morgan's going to be the more technical fighter, but Chepe is a dog. He will move forward. And if Morgan does get sucked into a firefight, and he's young and that may happen, I think Chepe will thrive in that situation. So Chepe is going to be the pick, but low confidence in that. I am not nearly as high on him as the community seems to be. What do you think, Jakey boy?
And in that post-fight party, what is Chepe gonna be drinking, Angelo?
Charriere.
Give him the Charriere, sweetheart. There we go. Because Chepe is going to win this fight. He's an absolute dog. He was my lock of the week versus Jack Jenkins. I got a lot of blowback on that. People are like, oh, it's just Jack Jenkins and those fucking leg kicks. They're just going to destroy him. And Chepe isn't very good. And honestly, in the first round of that fight, I was a little bit worried because Chepe was not fighting like Chepe. Chepe was fighting like, and you brought up Nate Landwehr. We watched Nate Landwehr fight very technical versus Dan Ige. And what happened? He got beat up. He lost the fight. Chepe came into that Jack Jenkins fight and was fighting a nice technical fight. And he wasn't getting just absolutely destroyed, but he lost the first round. And if that continued, he was probably going to lose that fight because Chepe, to his credit, Absolute fucking dog. Absolute fucking dog. And I knew that he was going to beat Jack Jenkins because I knew Jack Jenkins was a fucking pussy. If you're still rocking a mullet and a mustache, you're hiding something. You're a fucking pussy. I knew he was a pussy. He broke his arm. We've seen people hurt their arms in the past and get up or try to fight through it or fake it. TJ Dillashaw's arm was just fucking dangling and he's still trying to fight. That dude laid there, looked like he got shot in the back of the head from a sniper in the fucking rafters. Chepe dogged that dude. But he did it in the second round. The second round started, and that was Chepe that we love, dude. The second round started, and that was Chepe moving forward, getting in those clinch positions, being strong in those clinch positions, looking for a takedown. And if he starts the fight like he started the second round of that Jack Jenkins fight, he absolutely is going to break Morgan. Because Morgan is the better fighter in this matchup. He's a good fighter, good striker, has offensive wrestling and grappling himself. But if you put this guy on his back, he is just any other dude. I want to see Chepe start the first round of this fight. I don't want him dropping the first round trying to play the technical game. He's going to be tough. He's not going to get hurt too bad. I don't want him fighting from behind. Let's get on this dude early, Chepe. Let's get it. Let's get this guy against the fucking fence, Chepe. Let's hold him there. Let's show him what the fuck America is all about. Let's hold him there. Let's get some trips. Let's get some takedowns. He's going to probably get back. Let's get some fucking mat returns. Let's rinse cycle this dude. Elevate. Let's use your cardio, your toughness as a weapon off the fucking jump, Chepe. And if you do that, you're going to break this guy. You're going to get a finish probably in the second round, submission, TKO, whatever you fucking choose. I got to go Chepe here. He's my dog. He's probably not the better fighter, but he's an absolute dog. And if he brings that dog, he wins this fight. The smaller apex cage should help.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with all of that. Morgan's very good. Morgan's a very talented French fighter.
Not a typical French fighter.
Yeah, he doesn't fight like a French. He will leap. I keep saying
he's as good as a French technical fighter, but he will get in the pocket. He will get nasty. And it's going to be his mistake here if he tries against my dude Chepe.
I agree. His Morgan's path to victory is stay on the outside, use the range.
Fight like a Frenchie.
Yeah, because if he comes in and he hangs out in the pocket, Chepe will grab him, just turn into a dogfight, most likely out wrestle him, and just keep moving forward and win that fight. Chepe is both of our picks here. I am not. I listen my confidence as low. How confident are you? Are you low, medium, high?
I would say, I don't know what I put on the thing, but I would say I'm medium. If Chepe is Chepe, he wins this fight. Yeah. If Chepe is Chepe, he wins this fight. And sometimes people aren't who you want them to be, but Chepe typically is a Chepe type of dude, man. Chepe is Chepe. And if he's Chepe, he's going to win a fight the way Chepe should.
Got it. His line is tightening. He may end up flipping to a favorite. I doubt it, though, because I think if it continues to tighten, I mean, he's only plus 102 right now.
Yeah, I think I got him 145 or something. Let me see.
Yeah, he was a pretty big dog on Sunday when I did my quick picks.
I got him 145.
Let's see. Did I write the odds down? Yeah, on Sunday when I did my quick picks, I had him written down as plus 145. So obviously it's tightened quite a bit since then. And just based off the general tone of the comment sections, Trevor Peak and Chepe are everybody's favorite underdogs this week.
A lot of people are parlaying those too.
Which is, I'm not a parlay a dog kind of guy. It's already plus money.
Especially a UFC guy, you don't have to parlay fights necessarily. It makes it easier when you're watching fights and stuff, but you could just play it one by one and just roll all your winnings.
You have plenty of time. They're not.
Yeah, that's what a parlay is. So you guys could just play singles on Trevor Peak, and if he wins, take your winnings or take 75% of your winnings or whatever it is, and roll it into Chepe at that point. But this could be honestly, actually, if you're. By the time this fight starts, I bet Chepe flips a favorite on fight day. You know how those odds flip really quickly?
Last minute.
I bet that people bet the shit out of Chepe on fight day. So
it will be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. This has Fight of the Night written all over it. If you do want to unlock all of our bets for this card, I've mentioned a few, but there's a lot more. Go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's freaking $10. It's $10 for an entire month, not an event, not a week, $10 for an entire month. And obviously UFC 300 is next week. Before I move on, there's a comment. There's a whole bunch of Charles Oliveira's going to win. He's going to dominate. Plus 211 auto bet.
He's going to smoke Armin. Armin sucks.
Dude.
Who had Armin doing the fucking chicken dance?
I was just about to go, Joaquin Silva.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, he said auto bet everybody except Islam. Armin is Islam. They're the same guy.
No.
Same guy.
Just stop, dude.
Oh man.
Jesus Christ. The
Trying to
champion
save
has a name. His name is Charles Dumont Oliveira.
Okay.
Obrigado. Como vai?
Yeah, como
Tudo
vai?
bem?
Okay, stop.
Wow.
I have to pee again. I'm debating if I pee, but I'll do the intro and then I'll go pee-pees. Next up, at UFC Vegas 90, we have an incredibly compelling, very impactful, highly ranked fighters fighting for their next title shot in the co-main event of a spectacular card leading into UFC 300. We have Alexander Hernandez going down to featherweight for the second time in a row to take on Damon Jackson. Alexander Hernandez, 14-7 overall. 2-3 in his last 5, coming off a decision loss to William Algeo. He's taken on Damon Jackson, 22-6 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, coming off back-to-back losses. I don't know why this line is as wide as it is. Alexander Hernandez is very good, but he has shown us he's not very reliable. He's always tough. He's got good striking. He's got good wrestling. He's very athletic. He's all of those things. He is very good everywhere, but he can come out and be unreliable. And that was at 155. At 145, he's certainly unreliable. I don't even know how he makes 145 pounds, but he does have some incredible performances. He beat Beneil Dariush a few years ago. And if he is on, if he's the guy that has the very good striking, if he's the guy with the very good wrestling, if he's the athletic guy with plenty of cardio, he can beat anybody, including Damon Jackson. But Damon Jackson's a tough night out. He's a very good grappler. His nickname's the Leech because if he gets a hold of you...
They changed it. He changed his nickname.
What is it now?
I can't remember, but I think when his brother died, he changed it.
Oof. Well, it was the Leech because if he got a hold of you, he would latch on and he was hard to shake. He knocked out Pat Sabatini, but I think that says more about Pat's chin than it does about Damon's striking. But Damon Jackson will come forward and stick to a game plan and wrestle heavy. If Alexander Hernandez is not moving, if Alexander Hernandez slows down, if Alexander Hernandez cut a little too much weight to get 145, then Damon Jackson can get a hold of him, wear him down, ride him out, and have a bunch of success. I am going to pick Alexander Hernandez in an insanely low, it literally says insanely low, because Alexander Hernandez is the better, more well-rounded fighter. But 145 pounds leaves a lot of questions, and Damon Jackson can get this to the ground and literally just hang on for 15 full minutes. I have to go pee-pees. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, his nickname is now Action. He says, as a kid, I would always go to my brother's games. Jackson said, you're not always watching the games when you should. When you're a kid, you want to play with your own stuff. I would always play on the side of the field behind the bleachers. I would just hear him on the intercom, quote, Action Jackson with the stop or the tackle. So that's why he switched his name from the Leech to Action Damon Jackson. I agree. I didn't really, be honest, guys, everyone's here. Nobody listens to fucking Angelo, right? He's got his own quick pick video where he rambles on, reads the same goddamn script over and over. And nobody gives a fuck about what Angelo says. So I don't even know what he said about this breakdown. But I will say that I think I would price Alex Hernandez as the favorite. I think it's like minus 125-ish is where I would put him. Alex Hernandez is going to be very, very, if he doesn't get taken down early in this fight, which I think his footwork is going to be good enough not to get taken down. If he doesn't get taken down the first round of this fight, I think he's going to win this fight if he can just win this first round, because Alex Hernandez slows down in fights when people are able to kind of pick up the pace on him. Damon Jackson, to his credit, is a tough fucking son of a bitch, and he's going to be there probably for all 3 rounds, but he gets a little bit sloppy into the second round, into the third round. If he's having to work on the feet, can't get the takedowns under control, he will also slow down kind of at the same rate that Alexander Hernandez is going to be slowing down. So most people kind of turn up the pace, the pressure. Alex Hernandez starts getting beat down, and then he'll start fading mentally, physically, whatever it is, in the second, in the third rounds. I don't think Damon Jackson has that really ability. If he's able to do something in the first round, honestly, it comes down to this. I'm kind of talking myself into this as I'm doing this breakdown. I think whoever wins the first round of this fight is going to win the fight. The other person will then start to fade, and the other person is going to take over. So this could be like a live bet situation. I know it's going to be kind of tough to live bet, because if somebody won the first round, they're probably going to be like a minus 200, minus 250 favorite. But it feels like whoever's going to be able to control this first round of this fight, the other person is then going to start fading. Alexander Hernandez is definitely a tough guy to trust, but I think he is going to win the first round and then be able to kind of coast a little bit after that from the pressure of Damon Jackson, who is going to be a little bit sloppy later in those rounds. So I fully respect the toughness of Damon Action Jackson. But I got to go Alexander Hernandez here, but I don't love it. Minus 200 seems a little bit crazy. He is at Factory X, and Factory X, I said, is going to be undefeated in 2024. The only fight that lost was Isaac Bulgarian. Didn't lose that fucking fight. Alexander Hernandez this week, Cody Brundage next week.
All right, then. So, can you do that again? I missed. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, what a great joke. Everyone laugh it up for that one.
Thank you. I'll wait if people want to say in the comments that was a good joke. Do you trust Allie at $8,700 in your DraftKings lineup?
No.
I agree.
It's probably the worst value.
Like quite literally, because Damon Jackson is a durable guy. Alexander Hernandez is not a wild finisher. I agree. Worst value. We don't talk about that very often. I think it is a full fade in DraftKings, even though we both think he wins. Minus 200, I think what people are doing here, I think they're just looking for better value. And I think, somebody says, am I in my underwear? No, these are just.
Gee, whoa, what the fuck? TOS.
TOS? What's TOS? What is TOS? Ton. Tang. Two. What is TOS? Terms of service. Okay, got it. Thank you, younger people, for helping me out there. Anyway, guys, Jacob and I both on the same side here. None of us trust Alexander Hernandez just quite enough. It will be interesting to see if he comes out here at 145 for the second time, but dialed it in. Because he wasn't fully dialed in his last fight. But if he dials it in here, and he's not chinny, because Bill Algeo did catch him a little bit there. If he's not chinny in this fight, because he's not sucked out, he did a little bit of job cutting the weight, then we'll see what 145 looks like going forward. But for now, we just got to watch, wait, and see what happens. If you do want to unlock all the bets that we don't have on this fight, but do have on other fights, WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. It is only $10 a month. And next up, at UFC Vegas 90, we have the main event of the evening. We have Chris Curtis stepping up on short notice yet again to run it back with Brendan Allen. This is a rematch. But Brendan Allen has everything to gain, not Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis already knocked out Brendan Allen. And in fact, it was Brendan Allen's last loss. Since then, he has gone 5-0. Chris Curtis, in that same time period, I believe, has gone 2-1, and that one no contest was headbutts.
Bullshit.
With that, who's that giant Russian?
Everyone tries to headbutt Chris Curtis
because
they can't fucking box with him.
It was Imavov. And this is an interesting rematch because Brendan Allen is a notable favorite here, minus 200. And that line, I've seen it go up a little bit. I've seen it go down a little bit. And it always just keeps rebounding to the minus 200 because I think people are like, yeah, Brendan Allen's definitely going to win. He's a very good striker. He's a very good grappler. He's putting it all together. He's 5-0 in his last 5.
Isn't that wild? Isn't that kind of wild? That somebody lost the first fight and lost it pretty convincingly and then...
Yeah. That's basically my that's basically
sorry.
That's basically my whole breakdown. I get
asshole. That's what I was about to say.
that is basically my breakdown because Brendan Allen, yes, he's on this fight win streak, and yes, he is very talented. And what he has done recently in the last couple of fights is he tied it all together because he used to be just a grappler. Then he just overcorrected, became just a striker. Now he's doing all the things, and he is 5-0 in his last 5, but he's beating Paul Craig, Andre Muniz. He's beating BJJ nerds that he can take down. In this case, he's taking on Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis, as I mentioned, stepping up on short notice. Style-wise, a clean boxer with phenomenal takedown defense and good power from short check hooks. The big knock on Chris Curtis is he's low volume and he doesn't fight to kill. And that's actually what the commentators were criticizing him for in his last fight, that they said it looked like a sparring match. Chris wasn't going all in. And, Chris responded, as he does, saying, what do you want me to do? I'm in a fist fight with a guy who hits hard that's durable. Like, what do you want me to do here? But to Jacob's point, and the point that I was going to is, how much better has Brendan Allen gotten since he was knocked out cold by this very man? What has happened that now he's a 2-1 favorite? And I get, you could say short notice. I get short notice. I actually, here's a quick argument from me. I think short notice will actually help Chris Curtis. Because in my mind, and I might be overthinking this, Chris Curtis is a bit of an overthinker himself. He's constantly, that's an exaggeration, but he has more than one time deactivated his Twitter just to reactivate it. Gotten into a little bit of a spiral, lashing out at people, reacting to stuff, cancels his Twitter, disappears, comes back. So he's a guy who overthinks. He's a guy that gets very emotional, and I get it. So I actually feel like somebody like Chris Curtis, who here's your first main event, here's 6 weeks to think about it and stress about this main event, may actually work against him. But if it's here, hey, here's 3 weeks, very quickly, you got to get to camp, you got to do this, you got to hustle. Actually, 2 weeks, I believe. You got to hustle, you got to do all these things. Well, that guy doesn't have time to overthink and is too busy trying to get it all done. I think Chris Curtis on short notice is probably better than Chris Curtis full fight camp because of those things. Because you know he's going to be in shape. We're already 100% positive that he can knock out Brendan Allen. He's done it before. I think he can do it again. And even if he doesn't, the big question is, can Brendan just hang in the striking with Chris Curtis? I don't think so. So then can he take Chris Curtis down? Well, Nasruddin Imavov did, but that dude is a giant wrestler, a giant Russian. I don't think Brendan Allen is going to have the offensive wrestling needed to get Chris Curtis down, and we know he can't hang with him in the striking. I get people picking Brendan Allen. I do not get the 2-1 odds. We've seen him knocked out already in this exact fight. I'm going to go Chris Curtis here, but it is going to be a low confidence pick because it is short notice, and Brendan Allen, maybe I'm missing something, but he has put together 5 nice wins in a row. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I've been crazy back and forth on this fight, back and forth. My initial pick, obviously, I'm a big fan of both these guys. I've been a big fan of Brendan Allen for quite a long time. Chris Curtis, I think has been my lock of the week. I think he's been my lock of the week 3 times, but hasn't won. I think he's 0-2-1 as a lock of the week. I think he's literally been the only person that's been lock of the week 3 times. Maybe him and Amanda Hebos. That's how much I like Chris Curtis and like all of his fights. And when you break down this fight, I mean, you broke it down. If it stays striking, it feels like eventually Brendan Allen is going to get caught. He got caught before. And anyone that stays in the pocket, hangs in the pocket with Chris Curtis seems to be able to get hurt. The way to beat Chris Curtis is just kind of dance around, to stay out of there or mix in a takedown like Imavov was able to do. But it's just kind of stay away and just point fight him because Chris Curtis doesn't really cut off the cage. He just kind of will follow you around and just be with his hands up like, come on, fight me. But if you just stick and move, he's never really going to change his game plan to really kind of pressure and cut those angles. Maybe he changes it up, especially in the smaller apex should help. But you mentioned Brendan Allen, and in that first fight, who he's fought since then. This is another to your point. Silva was the last striker he fought, and he almost got fucked up. He was trying to strike and bang with Silva. He was able to, get through those striking exchanges, hurt Silva, and then get to the grappling. But before that, it was Chris Curtis. He has had this kind of cupcake schedule, but he is a much better fighter than the first matchup, and I think that's what people see. It's kind of inflated because of the schedule that he's had and the finishes he's been able to get, but he is a better fighter. He is a better striker. He is really, really dangerous on the ground, so if he's able to get it there, he's going to be live for a finish versus fucking anybody. I mean, he is that high level, and I believe that he learned his lesson. He can't car crash with a guy like Chris Curtis. If he does, and he said on his Instagram, he likes to fight wild. He's willing to take risks. If you're betting on Brendan Allen and you see that Instagram post from a week or 2 ago and he's saying, I put on fun fights and I'm willing to take risk, I think it's a little bit of time to panic because you don't want him in a firefight versus Chris Curtis. But I hope that he learned his lessons. If you want to point fight Chris Curtis will let you point fight him. Brendan Allen is a good enough striker now to where he can point fight Chris Curtis if he wants to. And if he does, honestly, I think he may be able to hurt Chris Curtis because he's a good striker. He's got decent power. Hurt Chris Curtis to a point where it's a club and sub situation or whatever that. I just think Brendan Allen's just way too live everywhere. And I've just been burned by Chris too many times with that style of just plodding forward. And I've had countless amount of money on Chris Curtis where I'm like, Chris, fucking please, dude. I know you got your hands up and the guy won't fight you. Fucking please just go chase him down. Do something different. And he just won't do it. I got to go Brendan Allen here. I don't love it, but I'm taking Brendan Allen here.
Yeah, no, listen, I get it. And if you remember, Jack Hermanson outstruck Chris Curtis. So there's some oddities in that lineup, but he took that on short notice on the other side of the world, and Jack just wouldn't engage, and it was that type fight. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a tricky main event. I picked Chris Curtis at low confidence, and that's not a slight on anybody's techniques or anything like that, but more of it's a very even matchup. This is actually we like to trash the Apex cards, but this was supposed to be Brendan Allen on a 5-fight win streak versus Marvin Vettori, who's top 5 in the world and has been for a long time. That's a decent main event. Marvin Vettori drops. Chris Curtis is the next best matchup for Brendan Allen because he literally knocked him out. He's already finished him. This is a solid main event. I'm looking forward to it. I'm rooting for Chris. He's a type of guy that I underestimated. It's funny. I overcorrected. I underestimated Chris Curtis when we were breaking him down when he first came into the UFC. Then I quickly overestimated Chris Curtis. And now I'm right where it should be, I think.
I was the original Chris Curtis stan. I said he was going to knock out Phil Hughes and Brendan Allen.
Well, there you go. Well, hopefully he knocks out Brendan Allen again because I did pick him.
No, Chris, don't do it, please.
I'll take it. $7,300 in DraftKings. Honestly, that's such a low price point, and Chris doesn't historically score well without a knockout because he's just moving forward, throwing shots. But this is 5 rounds of fighting. Chris is not going to get finished here, and he could win by finish, no less. So Chris Curtis, $7,300. I might consider that. You going to consider Brendan Allen at $8,900?
I think he's more live for a finish than people realize, honestly. I mean, he's a fucking... If he really goes all in on the wrestling, and we saw Imavov kind of just drag Chris Curtis down, and Brendan Allen's a much bigger guy than Chris Curtis. He is going to be big and tall inside that octagon. If he just kind of muscles him or even kind of just jumps to his back, dude, he is so fucking good on the ground. I mean, it's crazy how good he is with that rear naked choke. I think he's more alive than people realize, and it's definitely going to be a kind of an outsider play. It could be an ultimate lineup type of thing. Optimal,
yeah.
Whatever.
Optimal, yeah.
Oh, ultimate, yeah.
I think this should be an interesting fight. I do not think Chris Curtis is going to get finished in this fight. This guy, Gobbler, a ridiculous name, is saying it was a ridiculous statement for me to say Chris is not going to get finished. Tell you what, Gobbler, send me a bet openly bet. You do Brendan Allen by finish. Send me a bet openly bet. I'm happy to bet you my real money that Chris Curtis does not get finished. I'm confident. How is he going to get finished? The dude has a good chin, phenomenal takedown defense. He already knocked out Brendan Allen. Even if he loses, he's not going to get taken down and ragdolled. I like Chris Curtis to survive and get it done here. That's what Angie Bombalotes likes. Jakey boy, it's been fun doing the show with you. I've enjoyed tonight. It's gone quite well. And I will... Yeah, it did that sign off did sound like I was quitting the show.
I was like, Jesus, what the fuck's about to happen now?
Yeah, just moving on, I guess. We do ask you to become a premium member. Not only will you be supporting us in the most meaningful way possible, you will also get access to everything you need, like the line movement tracker. You will get access to the detailed data, metrics, and analytics. You will get access to the DraftKings optimizer. You will get access to more than just Jacob and myself. Artem, who has his PFL 1 picks and bets up now for premium members, but also the Pick Doctor. This is the gentleman who developed the artificial intelligence. If you go back to the beginning of this video, I talked about the artificial intelligence and how it is ranked number 9 on planet Earth right now for how well it has been picking UFC fights. If you go to Tapology and you pull up its profile, you will see all the stats, all the rankings, everything. Number 9 on planet Earth. This is the best artificial intelligence in the game right now. It's straight fight picks. In the 2024, it has been wildly consistent, pretty stable. We're very confident in it. We look forward to what's going to happen. You will unlock that. You will unlock the other people. You will unlock the tools, the insight, everything. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It is only $10 for an entire month. This guy, Joe T, I hope you enjoyed the show because you're banned. You're done. Whiny bitch. Here are all of these socials. We crossed 23,000 on YouTube. We genuinely appreciate every single one of you for helping us get there. We are on every single social at We Want Picks if you want to follow elsewhere as well. And don't forget, we will send you $50 as a bonus. Just go to wewantpicks.com/bet. Sign up with any one of our betting partners using our link. Make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you. Any last words for the people, Jakey boy?
We'll be live streaming. Lock of the week might not be till Thursday this week, honestly. A little bit of a late start, but we'll be live streaming Saturday. It's a little bit earlier of a stream, and then we might be live for UFC 300. And if you haven't liked the video yet, wouldn't mind if you did.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.